Valguero has just been released on Ark Survival Ascended. This expansive map featuring everyone's favorite furry raptors has just been given a big makeover, with new creatures being added, revamped terrain to explore, and an absolutely terrifying boss now overseeing the map. As usual, I'm going to spend the next 100 in-game days on this map documenting my journey in exploring this newly refreshed Ark. I've got a few goals as well, being to build a fortified base to protect myself and my dinosaurs, tame the new creatures that have been added, and finally fight Valguero's all-new boss, Grendel. This boss fight is literally made of nightmares. The arena is dark, the boss itself is terrifying, and its minions are absolute powerhouses. Kipper, we're gonna need quite the army to take this overgrown raptor from hell down. After naming my character and looking through the different spawning regions, I chose to appear in the Chalk Hills Zone 1. Chalk Hills has to be the move. A quick arm scratch later, I started looking around the new and improved Valguero of Ark Survival Ascended. Hello, Valguero. Hello, Enki. Okay, well the map literally came out an hour ago. I watched the trailer once. I don't know what else to say, let's get to it. To begin my quest of exploring this vast map, I of course had to get a few basics out of the way. First of which is to acquire a stone pickaxe. So I ran down to the beach, where a naked survivor such as myself belongs. Are these dead carbos? These are dead carbos. I can totally harvest these. Get some keratin. Getting keratin so early on was great news, as you needed to make a pteranodon saddle in order to fly, and it can otherwise be a pretty tough resource to farm so early on. But first, I need to make that pickaxe, of course. Okay, let's craft up a pickaxe here. I also unlocked the hatchet and spear engrams before whacking up a fallen tree and a rock to craft said hatchet. Now I need fiber and wood for spears. With the spears now made, I could start hunting for some hide, and thankfully I didn't have to go far at all, as this beach was absolutely riddled with defenseless dodos. Oh, this guy wants to fight. I did, however, spot a Dilo terrorizing a wild lifestro, so I had to intervene. It was a level 150, but after throwing all my spears into its dome, it collapsed, and I got some free hide as well. Did kill this lifestro for me though. Gladly take some more free hide. There's tons of little local weaklings here that I can kill for some easy hide.
Dude, stop!
This is awesome. Next, I actually smacked up the carbo corpses, and they gave me a ton of spoiled meat, some hide, and most importantly, the keratin. I already have more than enough keratin for a pteranodon saddle. That's awesome. I dropped some of the spoiled meat since I didn't need so much of it right now. What I did need more of was hide, of course, so this unsuspecting dodo got its noggin sniped. I also spotted a pteranodon up ahead, so I ran to check it out. Level 90, that's not bad. There's another pteranodon over here, let's go check the level of this guy. As I got close enough to check out the pteranodon, it took off, but I also did spot a wild Perry. Okay, I'm definitely taming a Perry. Where are you running from? I swam across the river to check the parasaur route, and it was a level 100, so I marked it on my taming list. That also meant that I had to keep it safe, so I had to kill this Dilo that was just hanging around a bit too close for comfort. Oh, I just missed that spear completely. Finally. After all that killing, I had a few levels to work with, so I headed over to the engram page to unlock the basic survival necessities of Ark. Okay, first up, let's make a campfire to cook up some food to keep myself fed. It's gonna get cold here, it's turning night. There was a thieving bird circling the airspace above me, so I had to get rid of it quickly, otherwise I'd just get robbed of all my food. So I crafted a single bola, equipped it, and wound it up all the way to try and get the bird incapacitated first try. Oh, I'm not hitting that. Okay, well, he left me alone anyway. I did, however, need more bolas, and to make myself a bow and arrow too, so I started picking at a few bushes and then ran towards another pteranodon to see its level. Oh, there's baby PTs now. What? There's baby flyers? What? This must have just been added. It's only a level 20, so I don't really care, but that's awesome that there's baby flyers now. That's so cool. Anyways, back at my little camp, I smacked up a couple of rocks and gathered up a little bit of thatch and made some new bolas. Now, to make the bow, I needed even more fibers, so the bush picking continued until I spotted that ichthy bird again. This time, I had to take it out. I waited until it got real low to the ground and then threw one of my bolas at it. Yeah, eat those stimberries all you want, dude. And you're back in the lobby. Hate these things.
I hate them!
It was also starting to get cold out as it turned into nighttime, so I unlocked hide armor to keep myself warm. I also wanted to make a bow first as well. Bolas and a bow should keep me well defended here at the start. And with the extra set of fiber gathered, I could also craft up a whole set of hide armor to keep myself warm throughout the night. Not a bad way to end day one at all. Already got some armor, enough keratin for a PT saddle, and a future parry right in front of me. Awesome. On day 2, I crafted up a few arrows and continued farming the river rocks for more. Alright, I want to actually set up a little thatch base just on this little beach here so I can tame a parasaur. Use that to tame some pteranodons around here since there seems to be quite a few. First, I unlocked all the thatch structure engrams and then got to picking fiber and smacking up trees. Do I hear free hide? Do. Okay, well, I'm hoping I don't go to quickly regret this, but this area does look pretty safe, so I think I'm gonna go for a different style of starter base than I normally do. I'm gonna do something more open concept. You'll just have to see. Let me cook it up real quick. Okay, I'm liking how this is looking so far. Now I need railings. So I dropped a few trees and picked some bushes again, and I made a bunch of railings to place all around the sides of the hut. Yeah, okay, this is pretty much what I was envisioning. This does look pretty cool, I won't lie. I picked up my campfire and brought it inside before hitting a quick relog since I was experiencing a few frame drops. Alright, now that I've got a little structure over my head, let's make a mortar and pestle, make up some narcotics. I'm almost level 21, so I can almost craft trank arrows. I unlocked the engram and I just needed to farm up some stone, so I got to it. I then placed it down and threw all the spoiled meat and berries into it and got to cooking. I only need 2 levels until level 21. I ran out and tried to find something easy to kill since that would probably be the fastest way to level up right now. There was also a second parasaur here, and it was a level 90, but I decided to kill it regardless. I unlocked the arrows and ran back home to grab the narcotics to turn them into tranks so I could tame that other parry. Alright, let's get to knocking this thing out. Oh, no way, you just dodged it. Okay, and it's asleep. Perfect. With Perry asleep, I quickly gathered some mayho berries from the local bushes and ran back to cook more narcotics, and I fed him. Can I make a parasaur saddle? That's the question. I'm just rich like that, I guess. I stood over Perry waiting for him to tame up so I could give him the legendary name. Hello, Perry. Alright, now while I was sitting here waiting for Perry to tame, I like my base, but I think I can actually do something cooler with it. Since it's on the water, I feel like it's just mandatory that I make it a fishing house. That being said, I repaired my primitive cutlery and I got back to work on gathering the few basic resources that I would need to craft the expansion. While I was minding my business, picking bushes, a pteranodon landed right by me, so of course I checked out its level, and it actually was a level 145. Hold up, I need to knock this out. I need to knock this out right now. I had to make new narcotics though, so I got some with Perry before bringing them back to my mortar and pestle to cook up. I grabbed whatever narcotics that I had left and turned them into trank arrows, and then quickly ran back over to the pteranodon. Got it bullet, and let's knock it out. Cannot pass up on a 145 PT right next to me. Oh, it only took 4. Nice. Conveniently enough, there was also a couple of parasaur babies around for me to pack up and get some prime meat. Sadly, I am gonna have to kill Perry's kids. Oh yeah, that's all the prime I need and more to tame the pteranodon. Awesome, dude. Holy luck. I ran back to feed the sleeping PT, and now that I got that taming, I could continue working on my thatch shack. I farmed up a bunch of quarter ceilings, walls, and windows before running back to start cooking up on the base. Let's build this thing. Okay, so first I'm gonna pick up some of these railings. I did miscalculate a bit though, so I needed to farm up a couple of extra quarter ceilings to place out the back. Okay, I've got the last 4 quarter ceilings. Place them just like so. Oh no, awesome, it's done. Yeah, I'm way more happy with this. This looks like a nice little cozy fishing shack. A cozy inside crib with a door to my own personal balcony on day 2. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. Oh, my pteranodon tamed as well. Awesome. Okay, maybe it does get better. I whistled it over to the shack and checked out its stats. Oh, this thing has really good stamina. That's awesome. I named him Flappy, of course, but I also added his stamina stat just in case I wanted to breed him in the future. Anyways, now we need a forge for metal. I'm tired of stone tools already. That being said, I ventured straight back to the engram page on day 3, and I unlocked all the necessary engrams for progressing. What do I need to make myself a forge? Just fiber and stone. Easy peasy. There we go, there's my forge. I placed it down into the corner and threw my leftover wood into it, as well as a little bit of metal that Perry was holding on to. Of course, I do need more for the smithy and metal tools, so I ran right back out to smack up the endless river rocks at my disposal. I didn't get much metal, but enough to make the smithy, so in the meantime, I started farming the other resources for one, being wood and stone. Anywho, I grabbed one more ingot and made the smithy. I then placed it in another corner of the base and crafted up a metal pickaxe so I could get right back to farming metal from the rocks outside. It It wasn't the most efficient way of getting metal, but it worked for now. And once I had a decent amount, I threw all of it into the forge and I could start plotting my next move. Okay, I've got a decent amount of metal smelting. I need to be level 38, so I need 10 more levels to actually be able to unlock and then craft a Pteranodon saddle. So I could craft cooking pots like I normally do, but I can't be bothered to do that. Instead, I'm gonna make narcotics. They give good experience, and I'm also just gonna need narcotics for taming stuff soon, so you know, might as well. That being said, I hopped on Perry and the great leveling and lawn mowing session commenced. There's a dead ichthy right here. What? Did these spawn on the old Valguero and ASE? I'm not sure. Oh, organic polymer. What? And I got a really good amount too. And I wasn't even here for that. I really just wanted the spoiled meat. That's cool. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I really do like features like that. They add a lot of like depth and I don't know, just cool stuff to know and learn about the game. There were probably other new features like this scattered around the map that I might not even find. So whenever you guys play this map, let me know down in the comment section what cool things you find. Alright, let's start crafting these narcotics up. This will give me a bunch of experience. I also grabbed a few freshly cooked ingots from the forge to craft myself a metal hatchet before heading back out to do some more lawn mowing on Perry. Alright, I've got over 100 narcotics crafting up. Getting levels at a decent rate here. In the meantime, let's keep farming these river rocks for more metal. By the time I was done getting metal, enough ingots had smelted for me to make a crossbow as well. I just needed to get a little bit of fiber, so I quickly gathered that by hand before running back to make one. There we go. There's a crossbow. And I kind of just threw my bow off the balcony as I didn't need it anymore. Now the base is coming along really well, but I think it's actually missing something. It just feels kind of bland in here. One second, let me just put up this poster in here and oh yeah, that looks a lot better. You know, I've actually got a few of these metal posters that I'd like to put up. These posters that I've got here are called disc plates. They're unique metal posters made from extra durable steel. They're super high quality and they'll last for years. They come in these super sleek boxes with everything you need to mount them already inside. All these posters need are sticker leaves and the magnets that they come with, so they're super easy to mount and don't require any drilling. And that makes them super nice to have, especially with my thatch walls here. Drilling through them might bring down my whole base. There are over 2 million different and unique artworks available in all different sizes from display. And don't worry, there are plenty of Ark themed posters alongside all of your other favorite brands and franchises. Display even has many officially licensed designs from huge brands like Star Wars, Marvel, and The Witcher. You're gonna find a lot of designs that you really like, trust me. Displate was even kind enough to send me some metal posters for free to help me furnish my new apartment in real life, and honestly, they look really good. On top of all that, displates are super easy to change. You just pull off your old poster and plop the new one in its place since they're magnetized. And don't worry, the sticker mounting system doesn't leave any residue when you fully take it off the wall, so you won't risk damaging your IRL base. Also, don't worry about shipping times. They ship super quick. I'm pretty sure Displate secretly has a whole army of wyverns on their delivery team. Displate metal posters just blow every other poster out of the water. And personally, I can say that I love my displates and will definitely be getting some more in the near future. Come on, these Ark posters are just too cool not to get. Now, I've got an exclusive discount code for y'all, which you can use alongside my link in the description to get up to 38% off. Each poster sold helps me out, and you can also get some sick drip for your real life base too. So get yourself some new displate metal posters today by clicking the link in the description and using code GRANTY for up to 38% off at checkout. Now, I've got a lot more work to do, but thank you to Displate for sponsoring this video. Time to get back to farming. While the narcotics cooked up, I ran back outside to farm other things such as wood. And I also spotted a blue drop with a ring coming down just nearby. And if I level up quickly enough and make the Pteranodon saddle, I can probably go and retrieve that. Let's take out this guy for some hide. Moss shops are surprisingly tanky though, and it actually got out of the bola and I had to chase it down. Holy health, man. It's just the moss shops. Why do you have like over 2,000 health? But it was worth it in the end though, as I got a bunch of hide and a couple of levels in return. I just needed 3 more levels for the saddle engram, so I stayed close to base, smacking up river rocks and protecting my homeland for that little bit of extra XP. Whoa, terrorizing my beach, dude, and the mini Perrys? I don't think so. After smacking up the Dilo's corpse, I ran back home to throw more metal into the forge. I also unlocked and crafted a sickle so I wouldn't have to farm fiber by hand anymore. Just about to hit level 38 here. Let's get the fiber. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have everything else I need for the Pteranodon saddle. Awesome. Making really good progress. You see, at the time of this recording, I don't even know what the boss is. I know that there is a new boss, but I don't even know what it looks like or what its name is. But very future distant problem for very future distant me, you know? Oh, hello there. For now, I just had to worry about taming more dinos and building up my main base somewhere. Soon enough, I got up to that level 38, so I unlocked the saddle engram for Flappy and made him one. Let's take a little quick flight around the map. It is raining, not the most ideal time to check out the map, but I do want to see it. Maybe scout out a potential base location, see where some resources are. I'd honestly like to build in the chalk hills. It's just kind of what Valguero is known for. I did also forget about that blue drop, but when I turned around, I spotted it, so I flew right over to check it out. Oh, there's taxpayers here. Oh, this is heaven on earth. Inside the drop, I found some decent desert cloth armor, so I put it on since it was much better than my regular hide. I then landed on the giant beaver dam, and I quickly snagged all the paste inside. Oh yeah, so much tax. On day 3, I love Valguero Ascended. Best Ark map by far. While flying back, I came across a few clusters of crystal. So you already know I grabbed some for a spyglass. Make myself a spyglass. Now I could actually get around to scouting the map properly. Immediately, I could see a bunch of PTs flying around the Chalk Hill beaches, so of course I checked them out. I mean, if I see a high-level female, it's definitely worth taming. As I was saying, I would like to build in the Chalk Hills. So you just have to build in the Chalk Hills if you play Valguero. Anywho, I spotted a couple of Enkies, and one of them was a level 140. So I left a marker on my map for future me to come back and tame this guy. See, like, dude, this area is so big and flat. I could build a crazy base here. Like, I might just want to build literally right here. This is like as flat as it gets on Ark. I could build such a cool base. I did plan on building a pretty big and cool looking base, so this huge flat area looked very promising. Oh, and we've got metal just down here? Oh yeah, this is like the perfect spot. It does not get any better than this. Okay. I honestly just concluded my map scouting right then and there, as I decided I would be building in that giant open space. Now, on my way back home, I packed up a random low-level parasaur for its hide and left its orphan children to wander Valguero all alone. On day 4, I started cooking up even more narcotics, and I also realized I had a ton already, so I started crafting trank arrows. Since I had enough to knock out that high-level Enki, I decided that would be the next move. While the arrows were crafting, I hopped on Perry again and then mowed the lawn for a bit. Taming an RG is definitely gonna have to happen sooner rather than later as well. Hey, let's go knock out that Enki. I flew back to my marker and I first made the neighborhood safer by leading a couple of raptors off the cliff. Yep, and you're not gonna cause an issue for me anymore. Oh, this is actually a pretty cool spot. I mean, that's big and flat down there, but this is big and flat and it's also elevated. Anywho, I was here for the 140 Enki, so I parked Flappy and got to it. Alright, do not run off the cliff, please. Holy, how did you stay on the cliff? Okay. And it's asleep. Perfect. Toss the Mayho bears in there. Melee damage looks alright. I mean, it's a good Enki. It's not gonna matter too much. While the Enki snoozed, I headed out to a purple drop with the ring that landed not too far away from here. I don't think I'm high enough level to open it though. I mean, might as well try. Yeah, level 45. That sucks. However, I could definitely open the blue drop that was also really close by in the small ravine. Oh, there's a Deinonychus egg. I'm not seeing any of the furry raptors around.
Hello there.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I really don't want to deal with these things at the moment, so I'm just gonna leave the blue drop as well. Okay, I mean, in the meantime, while this Enki's taming, I might as well start trying to farm up for my base. I'm not totally sure just what I want to do, but I want to move over here quickly. Gonna need spike walls. There's too many raptors and stuff running around. While I was flying back to base, I pondered about what base design I should actually go for. And by the time I got back, I sort of had an idea. Alright, so I just got an idea. I think I actually want to build a castle type base for this 100 days. Problem is, you obviously got to build a castle out of stone, and farming stone by hand, never a fun thing to do. I'm gonna have to do it though. It'll look cool in the end. As a start, I could always just build one of the towers of the whole structure and then expand onto it later on. Okay, so I just messed around in another Ark and I actually cooked up a design that I'm pretty happy with. And I made a list of all the structures that I'm gonna need, and I've got a lot of farming ahead of me. So I repaired my pickaxe as it would surely need that extra bit of durability, and looking at my empty forge, I first wanted to get some more metal smelting. I hopped on Flappy and flew up to the hills above my fishing shack where I saw a couple of metal nodes earlier on. I couldn't actually carry all that much on Flappy though, so I had to drop some of the metal, fly back down, and then throw the rest into my forge. Might as well go get that other stuff that I dropped. But yeah, I'm not about to leave that hard-earned metal behind to despawn on the floor. So I flew back up, grabbed it, and mined up some more before returning back to base and actually starting on the big base grind. Now, let's start farming stone structures. This is going to take a while. Come on, Perry, I'm gonna need you. Okay, first I'm gonna need a lot of thatch. Alright, now I need wood. Now time for stone. I I made exactly 32 stone walls before moving on to farming 20 pillars as well. And there are the 20 pillars that I need. Now, I still do need more structures, it's just my hatchet's kind of hanging on to dear life. Let's go repair that before I do more farming. Actually, I'll smack some trees on the way back. Who gonna stop me? Once I got back to base, I repaired the hatchet and I grabbed some stone that I found in my mortar and pestle before going out to farm the rest. Okay, and there are the 9 ceilings that I need. Okay, now I just need 24 railings, 4 ladders, and 16 doors or windows. Let's make some thatch ladders, which I can craft right now. Okay, and with that, that's really all the structures. Awesome. I waddled back to base with Perry, and it was time to start preparing to move out. The thatch fisherman shack was nice, but it's time to step up in this world. First, I needed another forge, for which I needed hide. Terrible news for the dodos right outside. And the mid-pteranodon that was just walking near my lawn also didn't escape. A couple of dodos later, I had plenty of hide, so I smacked up some more stone and crafted 2 more forges. I definitely need a bed. I also want to make some more wooden ceilings. I am going to need that for the inside of the base. The base is going to be very vertical as opposed to horizontal and laid out. So I farmed up said bed, and as I was peacefully smacking away at the trees for those quarter ceilings, I got impaled by a whole stego out of nowhere. Oh, why did you walk into me, dude? That's your fault. No shot. Get away from me. Okay, I think it's chilled out. I domed 2 more dodos before crafting a couple of wood ceilings and loading Perry up with all the structures. And with that, I think I'm gonna pick everything up. I grabbed as much as Perry could carry, and I picked up the structures before locking up the house and saying my goodbyes. Really did not use this thing for that long at all, but it did serve me well. I was moving really slow on Perry, but I also don't want to drop anything as I'm definitely gonna need these resources after setting up again. So anyway, I swam to the other side of this river and I immediately got attacked by a pesky thief Pego. Since I'm gonna have to go and traverse through the chalk hills on a slow Perry, it's a good idea to keep some bolos on me. This is a good idea in case any furry raptors decided that they want to try and ruin my day. However, them attacking me directly is not the only way they can mess my flow up. Oh, did my Yankee tame? I completely forgot about it. Oh, it got bit bad. It lost all of its taming effectiveness. It's not even worth taming right now. Yeah, it lost so many levels, I'd be better off finding another high level. I did make a quick stop to farm up even more bolos before continuing my journey up into the chalk hills. Hold up, Flappy land, dude. Let's go scout ahead with Flappy, see what we're dealing with. Oh yeah, raptors right here. They were pretty low level though, so I started taking them out one by one with Flappy. Oh, there's Deinonychus. No. I can deal with raptors, I can't really deal with Deinonychus though. I flew up to assess the situation. The left side was only being guarded by one Deinonychus, and it was only a level 55, so I hovered above it and killed it. Oh, and now we got raptors. I disengaged for a second so I could hop off Flappy and run up to them with my bolos. Alright, Flappy, you take care of that one, I'll take this one. The 135 raptor got absolutely deleted, and when the other one got free of the bola, it made the smart decision to run away, only to turn around and try and kill me again. But then it was already too late. Got it. Now that the path was clear, I flew up to see exactly where I had to go. And while doing so, I made it back to the Anki, which had tamed by now. Oh, my Anki tamed, but it's terrible. The raptor that messed up the effectiveness still had its corpse laying here, so I accepted the free hide donation. I guess this raptor was eating it but didn't finish it off and something killed it? Interesting. Don't really know how that happened. Okay, I can get up this hill pretty safely with the parasaur. Now let's scope it out down here. Anyways, looking down from this little hill, I could see the absolute world war going on down below, and that was all the convincing I needed just to settle up here. As I was flying back down to get Perry, new raptors appeared in the area that I literally just cleared, so I had to kill them again. Once they got clapped, I quickly hopped on Perry and I ran as fast as I could up the hill to safety, or I hoped it would be safe at least. There's really raptors up here. This area was just safe. I don't appreciate uninvited guests on my lawn though, so I made quick work of the trespassers before whistling the Anki on over as well. Yeah, I think we're just gonna set up here. There's just too many raptors and stuff to deal with down below. And so I brought Perry over to where I wanted one of the towers to stand, and I got to cooking. Alright, I am all finished building. I'm super happy with how this turned out. It's just one little castle pillar for right now. I'll definitely expand on it in the future. Got my forges in here, my smithy, mortar and pestle, campfire. Got another layer for my bed. I'll eventually place a fabricator right here probably. And then you can climb all the way up to the top where I'll keep my flyers. Got Flappy up here. Yeah, it gives a good oversight of the base and it looks super cool with the thunderstorm going on right now. And honestly, it gives me a pretty good view over Valguero. Really happy I decided to build up here. There are plenty of upgrades and extensions that I can build onto this tower as I progress. So I guess it stands that it could be classified as a starter base. And by that definition, this has to be the best starter base that I've ever built. Okay, so with my second starter base constructed, the next move on the agenda is definitely to tame an RG. I have a very mid Ankylosaurus, but it'll still farm metal pretty well. And honestly, there's not a ton of metal around here, and I'm not farming metal on the back of Flappy. I'd rather just go out and tame an RG. That being said, I repaired my crossbow and I made new trank arrows. But there was one thing I needed to do, and that was to farm up the RG trap. Yay, more stone structure farming. I climbed up to the top of the tower to hop on Flappy, and I flew down to start farming. I could easily get all the wood and thatch, but the stone was slightly irritating to farm considering these rocks actually give me sand as well.
I don't like sand.
So inefficient for farming. Whatever, I'm just gonna have to commit to it. As I was heading back up, I stopped to take a look at the Ankies in the area, and I actually found another high level. Yeah, 140 Anki right here. Hold up. Let me knock this out. And this one was a female too, so I could breed it with my male Anki for the imprint buff. Later on, as I was shooting it, trying to get it to go to sleep, it got a bit too close to the edge of the cliff, and I really didn't want it to fall down. Oh no! Oh! Good thing I placed in that bed, man. I never expected that to happen. I thought it was torpor running. I didn't think it was gonna turn around and hit me off the edge of the cliff. Anyways, I whistled Flappy up to me, flew back down to get my stuff, and returned to actually put the Anki to sleep this time. And it's asleep. Okay, let's get some meho berries for it and spike walls for sure. This time, I was not leaving the taming effectiveness up to chance. I farmed up a few spike walls to surround the Anki in before flying back up to Perry to gather more berries. I also threw some raw meat onto the campfire to cook while I went back down to feed the Anki. Oh yeah, perfect, I made spikes. I'm just gonna lead these guys off the edge. Or that was the plan at least, until one of the raptors decided to attack my spikes, thus choosing death instead. I picked one of the spikes up and fed the Anki and saw the 100% taming effectiveness, so I could close it off again and wait. Okay, finally, now let's go tame ourselves an RG. I didn't know the best spot for finding RGs on this map, so I kinda just started heading towards the snow, where I was sure to find some. I also couldn't resist a few free gifts on the way over there. Oh, beaver dams. Taxpayers. Tax. I need it. Let me just snag this real quick, it won't weigh too much. And I'm out. Well, that's a cool looking fort. I think that's new. That wasn't an ASE Valguero. Anyways, I flew up towards this small mountain that actually looked like it could have some RG spawning around it. The first bird I spotted was only a level 55 though, so I kept my eye on the lookout. Got a ton of RGs over here by these cherry blossom trees. All terrible RGs though. But then a couple of 140s entered my spyglass. So I introduced myself to one of them and led it up to this Coliseum type structure. Whoa, you can come in here? This is crazy you can go in here. I actually decided to lead the RG in with me as well, which made my life much easier since I could just place walls down behind it, blocking it from leaving. Okay, I'm gonna have to lead it out if you're first to do that. Yeah, I can just do that. I flew back out to get its attention again and kited it back inside and then placed the doorway down. I don't think it can get out. Man, that worked perfectly. Since I had such a cool and safe spot to tame the RGs in, I wanted to try and find a decent female too. So I headed back out to look for one. The yellow drop. Should be able to open that actually. It's kind of halfway in the ground. Oh, it did just fix itself. If only the loot inside was also worth it. Nevertheless, I kept looking around, checking out all the RGs that I could find. There were plenty of high levels, but all of them were male too. Alright, I can't find a high level female, so let's just kill a low level one, get some prime meat, and tame up this guy that we already have knocked out. I zoomed in on the first level 20 that I could find. I then engaged it in a classic dogfight, which I of course won because Flappy is just a superior aircraft. 3 prime meat, that might be enough to tame it, I'm not sure. So I flew back up to the Coliseum and it no longer looked safe as I had first anticipated. Oh, these guys are like dangerously close. If they go down those stairs, RG's dead. I gotta lead him off the edge. I led the whole gang off the edge before flying back down to the RG. Or where the RG was last seen to be at least. What? It's dead. I was slightly suspicious of the RG just being under the map, so I gathered my chi and I used greater powers to look down below the ground. Oh, it definitely fell into the mesh under the map and then the these raptors killed it. Okay, well, that sucks. I do know where our 150 is though. I didn't have enough tranks on me anymore though, so I'm gonna have to fly back home. When I arrived, I dropped off most of the stuff that I had on me, and just as I started crafting new arrows, my tames got attacked. Whoa! Cancel cube, cancel cube. It was a couple of raptors as usual, but with the help of Perry, Flappy, and my Anki, we got them all dead. You know, I think getting those gates out of that drop might be a sign that I might need to put up a gate and some spike walls. I think that's what I need to do right now. That being said, I flew back down to my thatched fishing shack on the morning of day 7, and I got to work on chopping down trees and smacking up rocks for a gate and spikes. Time to farm up spike walls now. Need to kill some weaklings for a hide. The f you say to me, you little s. Okay, he's fighting back. After taking out a few defenseless life forms, I gathered up a bunch of fiber and some more thatch to craft all the spike walls. While I had those all crafting, I completed a bunch of milestones at once, so I had to check out the skill tree. Man, I just unlocked so much stuff. Oh, I got 3 skill points. Okay, I didn't even mean to do that. Oh, I guess because my Anki tamed. I put all 3 points into the hot-blooded skill to triple my passive health regeneration. Now, with the rest of the spikes crafted, I flew back up to my base to place them all down. Perfect amount of spikes. Alright, let's get everyone moved in here. The spike wall of protection already had claimed its first victim as well. A wild light mantria that wasn't bright enough to not run into it head on repeatedly. Anyways, I accepted the free donation of silk and chitin before parking my tames inside, or at least trying to. Is that Lystra really blocking my Anki from getting in? I shot the little rascal in the face and my Anki replied with a whack to its butt. And just as the poor thing tried running away, it sealed its own fate on the spike wall just as that moth did. Alright, base is a little more defended now. I repaired my crossbow and I started making tranks again so I could go out and tame an Argent. Oh, their Anki did tame. He's chilling in the spike, so I don't really have a good way to get him up the base. Round 2 of trying to tame an Argent. Hopefully this one doesn't fall under the mesh and get eaten by mesh raptors. While flying over, I stopped by a blue drop, which had a couple of stews and a slightly better primitive sickle for me. When I got back to the Coliseum-like structure, I looked around for that 150 Argent. Okay, here we go. That's the 150, right? That's a 130. Oh, who are you? Oh, you're the 150. I didn't even see you until I landed. There was this convenient ledge just above me that looked safe enough to build my trap on as well, so I quickly put that together before going back down to get that 150's attention. I then let it inside on the first try and got to tranking it out. And it's asleep. Let's get some prime meat. While flying around looking for easy pickings, I spotted an ovis, so I flew down to kill that for mutton. Now that I have this mutton, I want to see how much I can actually tame around here. I still want a high-level female pteranodon to breed with. I'd still like to tame a female high-level RG. I brought some of the mutton back up to the RG and then continued scouting the area for more potential tames. And the loot. Try and snag this yellow drop. Oh, fur chest piece? That's nice to have. I also grabbed the blue drop on my way back, and inside I found a few extra narcotics and arrows. Then shortly after that, I finally spotted something worth taming. Female 145, perfect. That's exactly what I need. Can I hit a snipe bola on it? Oh, there's a giga right there. It's a level 15, but it still doesn't matter. Yeah, this area was not safe at all. However, some divine intervention made the wild PT fly straight down to a ledge near the beach where I could actually tame it peacefully. Oh yeah, land on this ledge. Perfect. This should be pretty safe for it. I hear the giga above me, dude. Oh no. If I see it dropping down on me, I will be punching a hole in my... Okay, I don't think it can get up. Thankfully, there was no way for it to get up to me, so I was good to feed the pteranodon. Yeah, try and get that PT all you want. You can try all day. You're not scaling that clip. While that tamed, I headed out towards the blue drop with a ring that I spotted in the distance. Give me something good. Products. Oh my, that sickle is out of this world. 500 damage on this thing. I'm gonna go fight that giga with this. I'm just kidding. Maybe the giga was a bit too good to get clapped by a sickle, but it was still a very good melee weapon that could save my life if things were to get messy. Anywho, I flew back to the pteranodon, which had now been consumed by the ground just like my first RG. Thankfully though, it wasn't dead, so I just had to wait and pray that I could fly out of there once it tamed. Bird's tamed. Can you get out of the mesh, please? It didn't look like it could fly out though, so I had to take my PT saddle off Flappy and harness the greater powers to get down to the other PT and then fly it out of there. Alright, let's go get the RG. I arrived at the other bird on day 8, so I picked up the trap and whistled both of them to follow me back to base. While flying back, I stopped by another blue drop with a ring, and inside I found an insane ascendant crossbow. Oh, a good crossbow. That's so clutch. That is such a good crossbow. These blue drops are starting to have better loot than the red ones, and it's not even close. Anyhow, I made it back to base and sorted out my stuff before looking into making an RG set. I didn't have a whole lot of chitin or keratin anymore, but I did see a few carbos back on the beach that I could smack up, so I flew down there on Flappy. Here are the dead carbos. Let's get this free keratin for the RG saddle. Take the spoiled meat as well. The spoiled meat would also come in handy when making more narcotics, so I kept that as well. Oh, I'm not even high enough level for an RG saddle. I need 3 more levels. Shoot. Okay. I flew back up the base and threw the spoiled meat into my mortar and pestle and got to cooking more narcotics for experience. In the meantime, I hopped on Perry and mowed the lawn just a bit outside the compound. Let me put together another mortar and pestle to speed up this narcotic production. With both of those cooking, I waited by them for the last 2 levels to roll in so I could unlock the saddle engram. And somehow, while I was just standing around and waiting, Perry actually ended up dying out of nowhere. The only other message that I got was a wild raptor getting killed, but that happened way before Perry died and no other raptors were killed after his death. Also, I'm pretty sure I was AFK or just not paying attention while all this went down, so I didn't even notice that Perry was gone. There we go, there are the 2 levels. Put them in the health, and I'll unlock my RG saddle. Should now be able to craft. Awesome. I also need an Anki saddle now. Perfect, I can make both. I ran outside to saddle up the RG and flew down to retrieve the female Anki. I then picked up the spikes and carried her back to base. I did also see a red drop coming down not too far away from here, so I headed straight towards it. It did land in the Deinonychus Canyon, but since I was on my RG, I can now take on those pesky things by picking them up and clapping them one by one. Man, I forgot how much these things hurt. There were way too many of them for me to take on at this pace though, so instead I grabbed their attention and led them over to the Lymantria. Okay, let's go get the red drop. Go, go, go. It was perfect as the moth slowed them down with its green fart, so I had plenty of time to land by the red drop and be disappointed by the fact that I needed to be level 70 to open it. Dang it. That sucks. Anyways, let's farm wood for these forges, and then I want to come back over here and do a metal run. With the wood gathered, I slowly flew back to base. I did have a small group of sheep just under the hill waiting to get killed by furry raptors. So many sheep. Their survival was not my biggest concern at the moment though. Instead, I filled up my forges and went right back out to feed my addiction with the first proper metal run. When I returned back, I split all the metal into the forges, lit them up, and unlocked the preserving bin engram. I needed a bit more stone and fiber to actually craft one though, so of course I went out to get that real quick. Is that a blue or purple drop with the ring? Definitely go and get that. But I first placed the preserving bin down at base and stored my spoilables inside. Alright, let's go get this drop. This time the blue drop with the ring actually disappointed me by giving me a bunch of adobe structures that I simply just don't need. While I was out here though, I decided to do a little bit of exploring. I need to find a good metal farming spot near the base as well. Whoa! Okay, this area got completely revamped. None of this was here. This looks crazy. Anyways, I want to tame a Dodic because I'm going to be building or expanding on my castle, which is going to take a lot of stone, and I also need that for more forges. Back at base on day 9, I first parked Flappy next to the female PT, and I got them breeding so I could get an imprinted Pteranodon. I want an imprinted Pteranodon because I eventually want to use that to go and get myself a wyvern. You can get ice wyverns and fire wyverns on this map. So I waited around for the egg to drop, and once it finally did, I brought it inside the hatch near the warmth of the forges. I also needed it to get the good stats, so when it hatched, I took a close look at those. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can't get a baby with the 465 stamina stat. If I can get that, I don't really care about the weight. I just needed it to be able to fly for a while so I could snag a wyvern egg and get away with it. Should probably focus on making a fabricator next as well. Looking at the engram, I was only missing oil and crystal. So while I waited for the second PT egg, I consulted my good friend Google. Once the egg was out, I brought it inside to incubate, and when the little guy popped out, I checked his stats out again. 232, surely have the stat. Oh yeah, okay. I tried to whistle him out of the base, but he didn't want to budge even after I picked the door up. And get out the base. I'm just gonna have to like fully pick up the base. Get out, dude. After placing the door and window back down, I cuddled it for a full imprint. Oh yeah, this is way better. Honestly, I'm gonna wait for this thing to raise up, and then I'm gonna take this out to the oil cave to get oil. Watch the video while the egg was hatching. I completely forgot the oil cave actually exists. While waiting, I flew down on the RG to kill a random parasaur for raw meat to give it to the child. What should I name this guy? Kinda white. Name him Bones. I then waited until Bones was fully grown up so I could saddle him and head out to the tundra for oil. I think it's up this way, right? Think so, yeah. It was a pretty far flight over, and I did kill another random parasaur on the way there for some XP and meat. Wish I could get this red drop. Not level 70 though. I could, however, get a purple drop with the ring that was hiding in the redwoods. You're a pego. That was a terrible purple drop though. Don't care for stone structures. Anyways, I made it out to the tundra, and I was able to find the oil cave pretty easily this time. Okay, they changed the entrance to it, but yeah, here's the oil cave. Now, I couldn't carry a whole lot of oil since I came on the PT instead of the RG, but I still wanted to fill my pockets up as much as possible. Since this freedom liquid is actually not that heavy, I was able to farm up a decent amount. Okay, just over 500 oil. That's more than enough. Let's head back to base. I threw some of it into the forge to make gasoline, and I still needed crystal for the fabricator. So I picked up my Anki with my RG and headed out to get some. This crystal sticks out like a sore thumb, man. Why does it glow blue? That's more than enough. I'd like to take this stone too. I nearly just fell. On day 10, I loaded everything up on the RG and headed back to base. What's a Dodic? 50. I do need a Dodic. Could knock that out. It's not great, but it is a Dodic. Oh, it's a dead parasaur. Wait, what? Perry? How did Perry die? What? When did Perry die? How did I not notice? That's funky, dude. I don't know what's up with that. The only logical conclusion of what must have happened was that the raptor that died first attacked my spike walls, and Perry was probably on neutral and tried to help killing it. But instead, he just stood by the spikes, slowly getting impaled to death. Alright, let me set up a little taming trap for this Dodic. With a small box constructed, I flew down to the level 50 Dodic, which by this point was all balled up because the local Deinonychus gang already got to it. I mean, I'll just drop it in the trap and let it heal up. I of course got him into the trap on the first try. Oh, really? So then I got it in on the first try. Dude, just go in the trap. I said I got it in on the first try. Holy, I'm terrible at this. What? Can they not fit? I tried once more with one of the door frames removed, but it still magically floated out of the trap. So I picked up all the door frames and dropped him in the middle of the foundation and then placed the door frames back in. Okay, I gotta wait for him to wake up and heal a bit. In the meantime, I brought the resources that I farmed back into the smithy, and I crafted the long-awaited fabricator. I then placed it down on the floor above, and I grabbed some gas for it before checking out the engram page to see what I could unlock. I mainly wanted to craft a few air conditioners as the forge's warmth wouldn't be enough to hatch a whole wyvern egg. I need more silic pearls. I don't really know where to get those. But my good friend the search engine knew the answer to my problem, so a quick search later I was ready to go and get some pearls. Okay, so it's looking like to get silic pearls, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and dive down into a river. Now, I don't really want to do that, but I don't have much of a choice, so I'm gonna make myself some black armor. I'm definitely gonna run into something that's gonna try and eat me. However, I did have that absolutely goated sickle, so I could probably defend myself and chop up any ops if they dared attack me. I put the new set of flak on me before hopping on bones and heading out to the giant lake. I'm pretty sure they're just down in the lake here. I don't have scuba flippers, so I'm gonna have to be quick with this. Oh yeah, they're right here. I swam down and got to scooping up the pearls. Some of them were slightly harder to get since I was picking up some random mushrooms from the area instead, but in the end, I got a decent amount of pearls regardless. So now I can head back up to the surface, hop on Flappy, and fly back home. Back at the crib, I threw all the pearls into the fabricator, and I grabbed all the metal that I had and started manufacturing the GPUs. Make 10 electronics for a generator, and then an air conditioner costs 15. Man, it costs a lot of metal. Good thing I have polymer though. With the generator made, I queued up another 60 electronics. Now, these air conditioners would absolutely shred through my metal stocks, and only having 3 refining forges cooking at a time was also not optimal, so I had to farm up more of those as well. But to do that, I'm gonna need to knock out that Dodic, of course, but I still wasn't sure whether it was actually healed enough to try and knock out. You know, speaking of that, I can probably make a magnifying glass if I go farm some obsidian, which I know I've got around here. On that note, I brought my Anki up to the top of this hill where I saw a few obsidian nodes laying around, and I got to smacking them up. I then brought all of that obsidian back and I made the magnifying glass so I could accurately diagnose the Dodic. So my dude, how much health you got? 66% maybe? 67%? I'd say 60%. I decided to just go for it and shoot his face once to see how much damage it would actually do. Yeah, that does so much damage, but I think enough torpor. I shot him 3 more times and he went to sleep from that, thanks to the clutch Ascended crossbow that I got. Okay, while that's sleeping, can I make these air conditioners? Yeah, I can make 4. There goes all my metal. Yikes. Anyways, I needed some mayho berries to actually feed the Dodic, and Perry's bag actually had some. Perry's dead body has some. I don't know how Perry died, man. While the Dodic ate, I unlocked the saddle engram and headed out to get some hide for it, as that was the only thing that I was missing. That was a Dodic right here. Level 145? I mean, I might as well knock it out, dude. Whatever, I'll have 2 Dodics. I picked the trap up and replaced it just off to the side before picking up the 145 Doed and dropping it in on the first try. And it's in. Okay. Now I'm actually gonna have to take my Anki to farm mayho berries to tame this guy. Surprisingly, the Anki wasn't half bad at mowing the lawn either, but Perry is just the GOAT. No one can replace Perry at what he does best. After feeding the other Dodic as well, I threw the narco berries that I got into the mortar and pestle to cook up more narcotics. Now time to get hide for the saddles. One of the ogres from earlier was still alive, so of course I grabbed a couple of random parasaurs and clapped those instead. Dodic saddle, awesome. On day 11, I repaired my tools as I wanted to go out and start farming up more structures for the base. Alright, I'm gonna farm up some wooden thatch while this Dodic finishes up taming. I think I can't raise a wyvern in this base, dude. It's too small. I've got to do some expansions. Obviously, I could farm the stone really easy with a Dodic, so I just had to stock up on wood and thatch beforehand. So I flew down to the beach where I first absolutely sniped a bird out of the sky. Too easy. And then I got to work. When I got back home, I grabbed some of the freshly farmed wood and I crafted a storage box which fit nicely right by the door. Oh, perfect. The Dodic had also tamed by now, so I saddled him up and went out to farm stone. Alright, let me test. Even when I farm with the Dodic here, it's still gonna give sand, right? Yeah, I don't want sand. There's no point to farm over here. It's just gonna make me heavier. Anywho, I opened up a nearby green drop which hooked me up with a decent Mastercraft Parry saddle and some tranks. It'd be nice if I still had a parry, I won't lie to you. I flew back down to the other beach where I could farm the actual stone nodes instead of sand. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. There's a glitch going around. Okay, so you know Dodics auto swing until they get so heavy in their inventory. Right now, maybe it's a feature, I don't know. I'm assuming it's a glitch. They'll just over encumber themselves. So really, I can get as much stone as my RG can carry. This guy's got way more than his full weight. So I didn't even need to put any points in the weight. So I leveled up his melee as much as possible instead so we could farm quicker. Anyways, when I flew back to base, I parked my 2 PTs out of the way as I wanted to start on the base expansion. Okay, so I'm wanting to make like a hatching tower. Like I'm gonna build another tower like this, but it's gonna be bigger. I'm gonna make it a 4x4 instead of a 2x2. That being said, I crafted up the 16 foundations first and I started laying the base down. Alright, I wanna have it connected. I have to pick up these spike walls for the expansion. Okay, so here's the foundation layout. Definitely want to make it taller. Really, wood is the problem here. Can I make a chainsaw? That would make things a lot quicker. I grabbed some metal from my forges and I started crafting electronics, but it was actually the pearls that I was missing, so I'd have to go out and get more. I'm thirsty. Good time to go in the water anyway. So I took off on bones and I stopped by the big lake again to fill up my pockets. I didn't grab a ton of pearls, but more than enough for what I needed. So when I returned back to base, I crafted the last few electronics and then finally the chainsaw. Oh, and my Dodic tamed. Nice. I grabbed my new tool and I flew out on the RG to drop a few trees straight away so I could continue the base expansion. As for the thatch, I still had to farm that by hand, but at least I didn't need metric tons of it to craft all the structures. And speaking of crafting, I completed another milestone, giving me 3 extra skill points, which I put into the experience killer skill. This increases the experience gained for my tames when killing things. On day 12, I finished crafting the first batch of thatch walls before running out of stone, so I went back out to get more. Now, the supposed glitched or feature that makes Dodics swing at nodes even when they're fully encumbered actually backfired as I was flying back towards base. My RG was already pretty heavy, and as I flew over a rock, the Dodic swung its tail, getting even more stone, resulting in a complete halt. Bro, really? When I finally got back home, I dropped the Dodic off and flew back to also stock up on thatch and wood. Before I could commit to building up the second tower, I still had to do plenty of farming and crafting to get all the structures ready. Okay, I think I've got everything pre-crafted for this next tower. Just the tower, not the wall connecting it. This thing's gonna be huge though. Alright, let's build this thing. there's the second tower built. I still need to put up the wall connecting the two, but yeah, this one's a lot bigger. Since this tower would serve as my hatchery, I grabbed my generator and the air conditioners to place them down inside. Now this looks like it can hatch a wyvern. Probably will need more air conditioners though, being honest. Before going out to get any wyvern eggs though, I wanted to finish the wall connecting the two towers together. I also wanted to use that space so I can have more refining forges going, as I still don't have an indie forge. So I'm gonna grab a couple of foundations and expand on it. We have some extra walls here, I think. Yeah. I turned some of the stone that I had left into more foundations and made the platform bigger, and then I picked up my forges to place them outside. Place them like this, and then I definitely do need to make some more. So I grabbed the Dodic and headed out to farm more stone as well as some hide from the local population. Thanks to their contribution, I could craft 5 extra forges, so I flew back to line them all up. Okay, there we go, we got 8 forges now. Of course though, I couldn't just leave them there unlit and not smelting anything, so I headed straight out to farm some wood. Whoa, crystallized sap, Unglewood. Huh, it's interesting. Whatever, it burns the same. When I returned back, I split all the wood into the forges, and I can now head out onto the main course. Okay, decent amount of wood in these forges. Let's go get metal. Remember seeing a bunch of metal over this way. Yeah, I think I can put about 2 stacks of metal per forge. It's pretty good. My base does look pretty cool from a distance, and it's nowhere near completion. There was still plenty of cooking I was planning to do with this castle base, and progress towards that was only gonna speed up with time. One thing that would definitely need an upgrade pretty soon though was the defenses. Even as I was splitting the metal into my forges, I heard a fight going on down behind me, and it was getting kinda close to the base, so I had to intervene. No, Aloe's outside the base. Can I just lead it off the cliff? No. Pick up the sheep that it's on. Oh, I'm actually playing crazy defense. Oh, I got it, dude. Yeah, this is why I need walls. I thought I was safe up here. The spikes were great for keeping things like raptors, Deinonychus, and less developed individuals out, but they weren't effective against bigger carnivores. Anyways, once I had all the metal split evenly into the forges, I lit them up again and moved the Anki away. Okay, I've done a metal run here. I want to finish off this wall, and then I actually want to bring this one foundation out so it's not connected to the wall. It's like, I don't know, you'll just have to see it, and then we're definitely going to do something else because I'm going crazy here at the base. So I first stocked up on wood, and then returned back home to swap over to the better Dodic and take that one out to farm stone. What? Why is that ichthy glowing? Oh, okay. Well, he just peaced out. When I got back, I crafted up a few walls and foundations so I could expand on the main base. And I actually had to pick up the front to do some redesigning. Alright, now time to pick up all of this so I can just give it a little facelift. Alright, now with these pillars placed, it has been given a little facelift, so you can see how it kind of sticks out from the wall that's going to connect the towers now. I just had to actually finish said wall, so I got to work on that. Okay, finally, dude. Got the wall constructed here, connecting the 2 towers. That's how it looks. And then we've got this pulled out a little more so it's not on the same level. Yeah, this looks really cool. I'm happy with this, and I'm excited to keep expanding this, just not right now. I've got to do something else. I'm going crazy building, I'm not gonna lie. I did see a purple drop coming down with a ring in the distance, so I flew over to check that out. Oh, holy hatchet gilly. These Valguero drops were insane, even considering that the fact that Valguero is probably the best in terms of drop quality. I'm getting absolutely spoiled by some of these drops. Okay, it's been 14 days in this arc. I'm ready to have a wyvern. I don't like waiting around. This map is huge and I need something that can get around a bit faster. That being said, I first compared my new Mastercraft Ghillie chest piece to the Ascended Desert Cloth one, which I had. I needed the one that would be better at keeping me cool inside the wyvern trench. Okay, that ghillie's gonna be better. I also had to put my hide drip on with some chitin gauntlets and desert cloth boots for maximum heat resistance. I then threw everything else into the smithy since I really don't want to risk losing it. And I'm now going to head over to the wyvern trench once I locate its coordinates. Yeah, I don't really know where it is, I'm not going to lie to you. A little bit of research on day 15 later, I was pretty much ready to go. I just remembered that it's in the snow, but I think it's still hot in there, in the actual scar. So let me bring this fur too, just in case. I was still light and quick on the PTs, so I started heading towards the scar. On the way there, I stopped by a red drop, and inside I found an Ascended fabricated sniper. It didn't have the most damage, but I still grabbed it as it could come in handy at some point. Don't really ever see me using this. Really kind of a PvP gun, but whatever. Anywho, as I arrived in the snow, it got cold really fast. Thankfully, as I put the fur chest piece on though, the cold disappeared, so I made the right call. You know what, screw it. Screw this gun. I don't need it. It's making me slow. I did open a yellow drop next, but this one didn't have anything worthwhile inside. That's terrible. A couple of Lazarus chowder and a C4 blueprint that I threw away instantly. However, these soups actually increase health regeneration, so I downed one of them before continuing my flight. I think I missed the trench. Oh, I think it's right here actually, with the red drop coming down over it. I waited for the drop to land before getting close to the wyverns as I wanted to see what was inside, and boy was the wait worth it. Oh my, holy drop. Okay, what? Man, okay, I can't run the scar with all of this stuff. Am I really gonna have to fly all the way back across the map? Yeah, I really don't want to lose any of these items, so I committed to the flight back and forth. I also did stop by another yellow drop, but inside that one I only found one mid-flak helmet. Finally, man. Back. I then dumped all the other stuff into the storage box and headed straight back out to the trench. Dude, there's another red drop coming down by the wyvern trench. I mean, I want the good loot, don't get me wrong, but like, it's such a slap in the nuts. Fly all the way out there, have to fly all the way back without even getting an egg. It's like a 10-minute flight each way. This sucks. And that is exactly why I needed a wyvern as soon as possible. When I arrived at the red drop, I had to wait a little bit for it to actually land, and then I had to deal with the wolves. Go dude, go fight the RG. Okay, now they're fighting each other. Now let's go for the red drop. I got a good riot helmet from the drop, but nothing worth flying back to base again for. So this time, I flew up above the scar and started scouting the area. Okay, I'm seeing an egg right there, and I'm also seeing so many wyverns. Oh my. Alright, well, as long as I get the egg out of the trench, realistically, I could come back, but like, that just means Bones is dying. Really don't want Bones to die. I had to try and get one without sacrificing my PT, so I carefully made my way down closer to the scar while hugging the wall to avoid detection. Now this side's looking pretty bare. I was not too worried about the level of the first egg that I'd snatched, since I just needed one wyvern at least to be able to get more. That one egg I spotted first was now left alone and unprotected by the wyvern, so I took the opportunity to fly straight down and try and get it. It's level 90. Do I just take it? Yoink! As soon as it entered my inventory, the wyvern started chasing me, so I dipped out of there as fast as I could. I need to find like a cave or something I can hide in. I'm not seeing anything and I'm halfway through my stamina. Am I good? I swear there's usually one that follows you. Like that's like the one that laid it. I think I made it. Even after landing for stamina, I couldn't see any angry wyverns approaching me, so I made it out of there scot-free. Red drop with the ring, complete other side of the map. I'm going for it. I did stop back at base to drop off the egg in the preserving bin before flying all the way out to that red drop. As expected, I got a few pretty good Ascended pieces of gear, however nothing crazy this time around. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as it could have been. After bringing all that stuff back home, I grabbed the boomstick and I loaded it up with whatever shells that I had from looting drops. I also grabbed my kit before flying out on the RG to deal with the noise just outside of my gate. What's going on here? Anyway, since I had this shotgun now, I wanted to farm up more shells for it. So I grabbed a bunch of stone from the Dodic and split that into my mortar and pestles to start cooking up more spark powder. I then went out to farm more flint with my Anki, and while doing so, I spotted someone special just hanging around right by me. There's an otter. Kipper, why are you not by the water? Hold up, dude. Let me bring this guy over to the lake. I'm taming a Kipper right here, right now. There were some aloes near the water though, so for now I dropped Kipper off at the top of my tower and continued farming up for shells so I can take those out first. I even made 2 more mortar and pestles just to speed up things a notch. Once the gunpowder was cooked up, I turned it into simple bullets and finally shotgun shells. Alrighty, let's go test out this shotgun on these aloes down here. I need to make this pond safe so I can tame this Kipper. The sheer aura of me approaching on an RG strap might have been enough to deter the aloes though, as they were kind enough to scatter. Oh, did they really go? Okay, I think they're all over there. So I flew back up to pick up Kipper and bring him down to the pond where I then sniped a salmon. Kipper, where'd you go? This fish wants it. Oh, are we serious? 99%? One coelacanth later, Kipper was mine. So I named him and put him on my shoulder to get out of there. Definitely glad I didn't build down here in this flat area. I would have been cooked for sure. Anyways, I ran back inside and I actually did do a little bit of redecorating. I moved my fabricator down next to the smithy to make my life easier when crafting stuff. I also replaced the preserving bin and the ladder just to make the room look a bit more put together. A little dark in here, should probably get a light. I then unlocked the omnidirectional lamp and crafted a couple. One of them I placed in the corner of the main tower and the other one in the hatchery. Perfect, place is lit. Oh, whoa, whoa. Yo, let's chill out here. The raptors damaging my spikes was a bit concerning, so of course I unlocked the metal ones. I didn't make any yet though, instead I wanted to craft a couple of ramps for the 2 entrances to the towers. Okay, that'll make it easier to get in and out. All right, I'm gonna move out these dinos right here, just kind of out of the way over into this corner, because I think it's about time that I finally hatch up the wyvern egg I got. After I go loot that red drop with a ring, that is. Oh, 2 red drops? Oh, I flew out to the farther red drop one, and this one even had a ring. Before I could open it though, I got to test out my boomstick on a local aloe that was harassing a wild parry.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Whoa. It's your problem. Anyways, the red drop was not that good in terms of loot. I did get a bunch of soups, a medical brew, and a shadow steak, but other than that, nothing crazy. And same goes for the second red drop. I got decent riot leggings and some fresh flat kicks. I've got a full set of good armor now. 80% riot, but it's nice. Okay, I can get down with this. Back at base, I sorted out the loot before grabbing the wyvern egg and throwing it out to hatch. Too cold. I need more air conditioners. So I grabbed some metal out of my forges and I made 45 electronics for an extra 3 AC units. I could also craft some hard polymer, so I did, as I didn't feel like going out to farm that. Okay, now there are 3 more air conditioners. Surely this is enough to hatch 1 ice wyvern egg. On a side note, I unlocked the scuba set to make farming silica pearls easier. And luckily enough, the ice wyvern egg was incubating with a total of 7 ACs running on full blast. Can I make a grill by any chance? I did actually have everything to make a grill, so I crafted one and placed it down in the hatchery since I didn't want it taking up any space in my own tower. Now soon enough, the wyvern hatched as well, so I whistled it out of the hatchery. Oh no. Come on AI, you got it. Oh, it actually made it. Kind of surprises me, I'm not gonna lie. While waiting for the imprint timer, I crafted a feeding trough and placed it down under the hatchery window. Unfortunately, the wyvern requested milk for the imprint, so I couldn't get it imprinted after all. Alright, I guess I'm just not getting imprint on this thing. You know, that would make sense that a wyvern's gonna want wyvern milk for imprint. I don't really know why I didn't think about that. It would still grow up and be useful to go and get another egg with though. What do I name this thing? You know what? It is a girl. Name her Elsa. Don't get too comfortable though, Elsa. As soon as I get a better wyvern and an imprinted wyvern, you're probably gonna be living in a cryopod for the rest of your life. That also reminded me that I'm yet to make any cryopods. I first crafted 3 canteens though, and then flew out to a red drop that I spotted coming down. That's the Sucha saddle. I don't need that. Homing missiles? That was a pretty buns drop, I'm not gonna lie. Now back at base, I started crafting up a bunch of polymer for the cryopods since I had plenty of paste from the beavers and I can always easily get more. On day 18, I loaded the Argent with all the resources that I would need to make cryopods. My forges were also done smelting, so I put them all out and crafted the 7 electronics that I would need for a cryo fridge before heading out. Yeah, should be good. Let's fly over to the green obelisk. And of course, I couldn't pass up on any free cementing paste that I ran into on the way over. I kept the wood from the dam as well since I'd have to farm that at some point anyway. Finally though, I made it to the obelisk, so I made the cryo fridge and 14 cryopods, which is all I could make with the resources that I brought. Oh, here's the stuff for the new boss as well, Grendel. Whoa, that's a lot of tributes. Future problem for future me, as I always say. After making it back home, I placed the cryo fridge down in my tower and hopped on Elsa to go out on a test drive since she was now fully grown. Definitely does feel nice to be fast though. I wasn't expecting much from a level 90 wyvern, but I still tested out her breath on a random parasaur. I mean, yeah, not good damage at all, really. I'm really just gonna pump stamina. I will eventually use her to get better wyvern, but for said future wyvern, I would most likely also need to get wyvern milk for the imprint, so I'd have to knock out a wild one. Another future problem for a future me, I guess. So right now, let's just do some killing with Elsa, get some levels into her. Oh, you know what? It'll look so cool if I land her on top of this big tower I got here. Got wyverns have the turn radius of a semi-truck though. I have also yet to place any ladders into the hatchery, so I couldn't actually climb back up. I did have them crafted in my storage box, so I grabbed them and then snapped them all downward. Well, almost all of them. Oh, shoot. Anyways, I crowded up most of my tames that I wasn't using to make some open space in the compound as it was getting a bit crowded. My storage situation also needed a rework inside, so I crafted more boxes. Okay, so since this is Valguero, there aren't any explorer notes on the map, meaning it's kind of hard for me to level up my dinos, and really the best way that I do like to level up my dinos when there aren't explorer notes is by killing baby Rexes. They just give a ton of XP, especially when they're high level. Could be using Rexes for the boss anyway. I honestly don't know. The map came out 24 hours ago and I'm already on day 18, so you can see how quickly I actually record these videos for you guys. I also had a really good crossbow, so taming the Rexes wouldn't be that hard. So I crafted up a bunch of stone arrows and turned a few of them into tranks before climbing up to Elsa and taking off to go look for the Rexes. I'm honestly just gonna try and knock him out without a trap. My crossbow's really good. Should be able to knock him out relatively quickly. The first Rex that I spotted was only a level 15, so I landed by it to kill it before flying over to a yellow drop with a ring in the distance. What you got for me? Nothing. Why would I ever craft that? Yeah, that's pretty terrible. I don't even need these metal structures. I don't know why I picked them up. Back to Rexes though. I actually found a 140 and a 145 breeding pair. However, they were in kind of a dangerous area. Now this is where not having a trap could bite me in the butt. Okay, it's asleep. Finally, dude. I fed it some prime meat before going over to the other Rex to start knocking that out as well. With both of the Rexes out and fed, I just had to wait for them to tame. I didn't really care about their stats too much as they were primarily for leveling purposes. I probably won't end up using them for the boss. I'm sure there's gonna be some, probably use Theres, Deinonychus, something. Are you Oh, my Rex is getting, are you serious? And my wyvern was too weak to defend it, so I just had to perch up on a hill and watch. My Rex was getting hit, dude. Really? What are the odds of that? Just got caught in the crossfire. While waiting for these two to wake up, I decided to fly around the map and farm the insane drops Valguero has to offer. Okay, first Rex tamed. I also flew by to wait for the second Rex to tame, and this time I actually had to whip out the boomstick to deal with a wild one trying to disturb it. Here's my other Rex. This one has a chance of being decent. Nah, it's bad. And to rub some salt in the wound, as I was approaching my base, I stopped by a red drop that disappeared literally right in front of my nose. Oh, are we serious? Damn, punching the nuts. I'm gonna have to expand my base here. These Rexes just aren't going to fit. You know what? I bet I can make them fit. Hold up. I parked the Anki and Dodic on the other side of the compound and threw out the Rexes, aligning them to peek over the cliff's edge. Now, Rexes were just part one of the XP problem. I also need an Oviraptor to actually collect the eggs and a Cody for that extra buff. I could use... I'll just go out and search for Deinonychus eggs, and I'll use that to tame an Oviraptor. I think that might be the move instead of waiting for eggs for my own dinos. That being said, I hopped on Elsa and flew down into the Deinonychus trench to do some stealing. Holy, well, okay, I got an idea. I flapped the pests out of the way and then snagged the egg. I did get slowed by the Limantia's fart, but I got out in one piece. Okay, let's keep looking for eggs. There's another. Oh, 145? Sweet, dude. Definitely raising this. I flew back to base to store that 145 egg away in the preserving bin as I didn't want that one to go to waste. Going back out to look for more though, it was actually kind of difficult to find the nests. It seemed as though the Ark Survival Evolved version of this map actually had more nests around. Yeah, so what I'm noticing is these Deinonychus really only seem to be in like ravine type things. Oh, another 145. Oh my, you're not even a Deinonychus, you're just a normal one. I sold just one more egg after that 145 before flying back home. I then threw a bunch of raw meat on the grill and headed right back out to find an Oviraptor to tame. Assuming I should just be able to find one down on the beach here. A red drop over there, one sec. The drop was mid, but at the very least, I found a level 55 Oviraptor straight away, so I picked it up and brought it back to base. Oh, we've got aloes. Of course, man. Alright, you stay there, dude. Where'd the Oviraptor go? Oh, there he is. It's booking it for something. Straight into my bola. I shot it just once in the tail with a crossbow as I didn't want to risk killing it. And thankfully, it fell asleep from that first arrow. So I fed it and waited for the first feed to make sure that it would tame off the 5 eggs that I had. Me waiting also may or may not have included a little bit of pest control. One of the eggs gave it over 70% taming, so I was good to go and grab a red drop that I spotted at the edge of the chalk hills. Rock golem settle? I mean, that's kind of cool. I'd like to tame a rock golem. I know they got chalk golems and I'm pretty sure snow golems. I don't know the last time I've ever tamed a rock golem. Golems aside, the Oviraptor tamed as I returned back home, so I dropped him off near the Rexes and parked Elsa and then sorted out my inventory. So we'll enable mating on these, and now this will passively collect me eggs that I can use for leveling. I grabbed the 2 high-level Deinonychus eggs and threw them out to hatch as I wanted to test them out. I never really used them and apparently they're pretty good, so it's about time that I tried them out. Man, these things are cute. Okay, so I don't even know... Oh, okay. I don't even know what stats to expect. Whoa, this one has way better health. This has terrible health. I renamed them according to the best stat that they had, being the HP on one and the melee on the other. Oh, this one wants exceptional kill. I guess I'm just not imprinting them. I'll just breed them because this guy has half the health of the other one. But then I noticed they were both female as well, so I couldn't even do that. I waited until the 2 birds grew up on day 21. In the meantime, I wanted to craft a saddle. It was dirt cheap, but I just couldn't find any fiber in my smithy. It's like I don't have any fiber. Solve that issue real quick. Deinonychus are fully grown. Now, I don't really want to mess around until I get a fully imprinted strong one. These guys are very cool. Looking at my forges, they already had smelted the metal that I farmed last time, so I wanted to get them all going again. The first thing I would need to get though was wood, of course, but my chainsaw has honestly seen better days. It's gonna need repaired soon. So I first made a pair of scuba flippers and a scuba tank so I could farm silica pearls easier. I needed pearls to craft electronics to repair said chainsaw, so I flew back out to the giant lake to collect the pearls. Okay, here we go. Let's get these pearls. Oh yeah, this is so much better with flippers and scuba. Alright, yeah, that's a very good amount of pearls. Back at base, I crafted a few GPUs and some polymer to fix the chainsaw. There was still one more thing that I wanted to do before going out to farm the wood, and that was to level my RG up a bit and to get some more points into its weight. So I grabbed a few Rex eggs and threw them out to hatch. And while those incubated, I headed out to find me a Lystro as I'm still yet to do that. Oh. Yeah, literally right in front of me. Hello, Cody. I dropped him off at my base and fed him some Mayo berries. Seeing as he wasn't the brightest of creatures, I did have to bring him up to my tower as he started going straight for the spikes. With Cody now tamed, I brought him inside the hatchery and flew my RG in to commit unspeakable crimes against nature. Oh yeah, see, this is what I needed to do for levels all along. This is so much better. And I also got plenty of prime meat to throw on the grill. Alright, finally, now let's go farm wood. Really? Alright, here's a bunch of wood farmed. I think I can get 4 stacks per forge, and I'll go farm more metal as well. I returned back to base and split all the wood into my forges, and then flew straight back out to get metal to feed my addiction. That is, until I spotted this fighter jet flying ahead. Oh, 145 Quetzal? Okay. I mean, I never tame Quetzals just because I think RGs are better, but I might have to tame that. I kind of just want to have one, experiment with one, especially a 145. Imagine all the weight I could pump into it. Dude, imagine the metal farms I can do with a 145 Quetzal. Oh, I've got to tame that. Now, taming a Quetzal was no easy task, but the sheer thought of being able to farm metric tons of metal thanks to their huge drag weight made me really want to tame it. For now though, I continued on my metal run as I did need to refill my forges. I did run into a Deinonychus nest while I was farming on day 22, and the egg was a level 135, so of course I had to cop it. Oh, the Anki's auto-swinging too when it's encumbered, just like the Dodic is. Hold up. Yeah, it's swinging too. This has to be a glitch where they'll just auto-swing. The Anki also wanted smoke after I just saved it from the aloes, so of course I delivered. Anyways, I farmed up the rest of the metal and then flew back home to sort it out between the forges and get it cooking again. Alright, I really want to tame that Quetzal, so I think how I'm going to do it is just grapple to my Pteranodon and kind of whistle it towards the Quetzal and then have to shoot it with tranks. I did have another crossbow in my smithy that I could use for grapple, so I crafted 11 of those and I also stocked up on arrows. Oh, yo! Oh, I'm like under attack here. I blasted the perpetrators, but they actually did some numbers on my spike walls. Anyways, I brought my Anki out once more to get some flint as I still needed more arrows. Green fog on the map right now. Weird. So I loaded the other crossbow with grapples and I made a few parachutes just in case. Also, not sure why Valguero was just England and Ark because it's constantly raining here. Hey, it's raining as normal on Valguero for some reason. I really don't know why it likes to rain so much here. Let's go find that Quetzal, knock it out. Once I located the Quetzal, I perched up on a pillar and then grappled to Bones so I could whistle him around. Oh no, no, no! Oh my, okay, that worked. Now let's go towards the Quetzal. I made sure to whistle passive as well before getting up close and personal with the Quetzal and starting the tranking process. And yeah, that works. Oh, I just shot my own bird. Okay. It was pretty tricky to hit every time, and I did even have to craft some more tranks as I kept shooting. And honestly, it's getting really bloody too, and I'm kind of worried that it might fall asleep above the water. Man, he's like perfectly centered over the water. This is so annoying. Dude, it's so bloody. I feel like I'm gonna kill it. Oh, it's asleep! It's asleep! Okay, this isn't a terrible area. I still had to bolt it back to base to make spikes as I didn't want to risk getting this Quetzal killed. I had a few spikes in my smithy, so I grabbed those and crafted a bunch more since this bird is pretty massive. I also brought narcotics with me before climbing up to Elsa and flying down below base to an Ovis to kill for mutton. Need an Ovis. There we go. I flew back over to the Quetzal and I first clapped a low-level Rex roaming the area, and then I actually surrounded the bird in spikes. I also fed it the mutton and a few narcotics before fully closing it off. Okay, I think I've got it fully sealed off. I'm just gonna wait with it here, dude. This is such a crazy tame. I was a bit curious to see, so I picked up one of the spikes and checked the Quetzal's weight stat out. 1200 weight pre-tame. This is gonna be so good for farming. Speaking of, there's actually a lot of metal just here all around me, so I could bring the Anki over here and get a ton of that farm. Anyways, I waited for him to finish taming before naming him Bluebird, because he's blue. After cryoing Bluebird, I picked up all the spikes as I'd actually have a use for them back at base. You see, I was slowly running out of real estate despite living on top of a pretty flat hill, so I need to expand my compound outwards with the spikes. When I returned back, I parked Elsa on her tower and grabbed a few resources to repair the damaged spikes that I had. I then picked all of them up, including the main gate, and replaced them down further out. Okay, there we go. We've got some more space here, so throw out my Quetzal. There was an aloe bullying the local wildlife just outside my base, so I flew out there to introduce it to the Second Amendment. I still had a few spikes left, so I placed those down next to the hatching tower to keep things off my walls. On day 24, I unlocked a regular Quetzal saddle and then crafted one. And that's an expensive saddle, but I am accumulating more wealth, so I'm able to craft it, simply because I am him. I saddled a Bluebird before parking him in front of the hatchery with its head poking inside. I then grabbed all the Rex eggs my Oviraptor had collected, and I threw them out inside to incubate since it's time to commit more crimes against nature. In the meantime, I headed over to recover a blue drop with a ring that landed right outside the base. That's not bad. War drums. I mean, guess I'll take them for decoration. Alright, dude, quit running into my spikes. It's really not that deep.
Bye, have a great time.
Anywho, I climbed to the top of my tower and placed the war drums there before hopping on and hitting a few sick beats. Oh yeah. Okay. Enough of that. The eggs were about to hatch, so I made Cody do a backflip and then picked up the dino gate so the Quetzal could fully fit inside the hatchery. And I'll just place it back down so they can't escape. Welcome to the world. 52 levels. I'm so excited for this weight stat.
Holy Jesus.
5,200 weight. Oh my. The farm is gonna be insane. So I walked Bluebird out of there, replaced down the gate, and got rid of the evidence that remained inside. Alright, now that I have this Quetzal tamed, I really do want to put it to the test, and I want to farm up. I want to make another one of these castle pillars and put it kind of over in this direction where those bushes are, so I can keep expanding the base, and eventually I'm going to have it wrap around all of this, so I'll have a big courtyard while I'll keep all my stuff. It's just going to be slowly expanded on over time. Before getting to work on that though, I wanted to make a fridge since the preserving bin was basically full, and I crafted a few bits of polymer and the electronics that I was missing. I also put this chair that I had in my inventory next to the cryo fridge. And there's the fridge. I'm gonna keep the preserving bin because I'm gonna have to put wyvern milk in that in the future. For those of you that don't know, you can actually store milk in a preserving bin to drastically extend its spoil timer, but you can't put it in a fridge. I think I'll just slap it right there though. The space is pretty tight, but that's how it be when you live in a castle. I transferred all my spoilables over to the fridge before flying down to hydrate. And now it's finally time to put Bluebird to the test. I picked up my Dodic and flew down to the other side of the beach to farm stone. When I returned, I placed a large storage box outside and flew back out to stock up on wood and thatch as well. Back at base on day 25, I got to crafting all the foundations, walls, ceilings, and pillars for the third tower as well as the actual windows and doors. I think I've got all the structures here for the next tower that I'm putting over there. However, I don't feel like building that just yet. I've been watching some videos in my downtime on Valguero, and there's some new loot caves, and I'm pretty sure you can actually fly into them with a Pteranodon. And there's some good drops in there that supposedly give pretty good loot. So obviously I want to go check those out, but first I got to check out this red drop with a ring. I waited for it to land and then grabbed everything inside as there was a bunch of resources and an Ascended Flag Boots blueprint with insane armor. Decent overall drop, just some resources that are nice. That is a good blueprint. Doubt I'll ever really craft it though. Anyways, as I was flying back towards base, I actually spotted one of the new dinos added with ASA Valguero. Oh, there's the new dino. Megaraptor 140? Oh, I so want to tame that. I really want to tame that. Thing is, I have no idea how to tame those. I'm gonna have to watch some more videos. I definitely need to do some research on that soon and tame that 140. However, I already had my next side quest in mind, and that was to go look for the cave with loot. So I'm pretty sure this cave has 4 or 5 bread drops that you can run pretty easily. If I can do that to get maybe a Rex saddle blueprint, fairy saddle blueprint, or who knows, some strong dino saddle blueprint, maybe even a Deinonychus saddle blueprint, that would be great for the boss. Still don't know what dino I'm actually going to use for the boss, but I do need to figure out that sooner rather than later. Said cave was located located on the right side of the chalk hills, so I flew over to the supposed coordinates and headed down to find the entrance. And it was pretty easy to see considering the giant glowing purple crystals. As mentioned earlier, I could actually fly in here with a PT, so the cave creatures were no longer a threat. I'm not seeing any drops though. And apparently the drops were supposed to be scattered all across the cave, so I was pretty surprised to find none. I even flew into this little hidden area with a fortress-like structure. I then used the photo mode to peek inside and see if there were any drops in there. Oh, there's not even a drop in here. What? There's supposed to be drops all over this place. Disappointed, I left the cave for now and flew back to base. On day 26, I stared into my inventory pretty intensely as I did some research on how to tame that new Megaraptor. I could not pass up on a level 140 this close to my base after all. Okay, so I've done some research and I found out how to tame the Megaraptor. So basically, I'm gonna need a bunch of torches. You have to challenge it to a little mini game type thing. And basically, it's just gonna make the area dark around you. And once you hear it, you have to swing your torch. Screw it, I'm gonna make 10. And basically, if you hit it with a torch, it does torpidity. But if you miss it with a torch, it obviously just does damage to you. Also, the better torch that you use, the faster you could actually knock it out. But seeing as I didn't have a torch blueprint, I would have to stick to the primitive ones. I did have good armor on me, so I should be safe. However, I did make the executive decision to leave Kipper at home. I really do not want to lose Kipper. I should probably craft some shotgun shells, because I think I'm gonna have to clear the area of other dangerous dinos before I attempt to tame the Megaraptor. So I crafted a few more shells as I already had plenty on me and then hopped on Elsa to head out. Okay, that's the Megaraptor's spire. Then there's the Megaraptor. It did seem to be having fun with the wildlife around, so I helped it out by clapping a nearby Rex and Raptor. Then flying back towards the Megaraptor spire, I did find a couple of aloes as well, so of course I took care of those. Alright, I think I'm actually gonna have to have Kipper on my shoulders. I'm overheated in this riot gear. If things got out of hand, I could always just kill the Megaraptor with the shotgun to save Kipper. Kipper, need you. Now that I wasn't actively getting deep fried in my own armor, I could head back down to the Megaraptor and park Elsa and then approach the ominous spire. Okay, so I go up to its spire that has blood all over it. That's terrifying. I'm gonna challenge it. Oh, it's out hunting. I had to wait for it to stop fighting, but then I could actually challenge it. Oh, I challenged it. Okay, so now I just gotta wait till I hear it. Oh, see, I hit it. I hit it. Okay, I did torpor to it. Got it. I don't want to accidentally hit the Yankee. Oh no! What? The Anki totally just messed me up. Yeah, not sure why exactly I got bit there since I did bonk the Megaraptor's head. Armed with this information though, I decided that the only logical conclusion would be to kill anything that lived or breathed in the area other than the Megaraptor, of course. Alright, the area is clear now. Can I get to it? This taming method was actually really cool and unique, and it was actually kind of fun to see something different again like we did on Aquatica, for example. There was the torpidity bar above my hotbar, and I could see the primitive torches were not dealing a lot of torpor at all. Oh, he got me that time, okay. Got it. Okay, it's asleep. Finally, man. I did also have a bunch of mutton on Elsa, so I brought it over to feed the Megaraptor. Why does it shine like this? It looks sick. I then flew back up home to grab some spikes just in case anything decided to attack it. These chalk hills are pretty dangerous after all. Okay, I'm just gonna sit with it, wait till it tames. I did also unlock the saddle engram, and as it was close to getting tamed, I picked the spikes back up. Okay, Megaraptor's all tamed up. Oh, chill. I didn't really know what to think of the stats as it's a new dino, so I had to go back home, craft a saddle, and then take it out on a little test drive. And of course, I couldn't leave this red drop behind either. Oh, Rex saddle? I don't need a tree platform. I might demolish that for resources. I threw the Megaraptor out back at base and ran outside to grab some fibers so I could actually craft the saddle for it. Okay, here's the Megaraptor saddle. Let's go hunting. That's what this thing is really for. It's pretty quick. Oh, and it can double jump. Wow. You could also move side to side with this creature, which was a really cool animation too. Oh, it's like stalking. That's crazy. Testing the actual attacks out, I had a basic melee claw swipe, and then an ability called a claw finisher. There were also these 3 abilities on my hotbar that I just had to test out. First being the hunt ability. I targeted a sheep down below me and it started running for its life, but it was also highlighted so it had no chance of getting away. I don't really know how to get camo to work, I'm not gonna lie. The pounce was actually really good though. I also wanted to test that claw finisher, so I first tried that on a random parasaur, but that died too quickly. Maybe this Anki? Okay, so that starts it bleeding. Oh, I just threw Kipper off though. Solitary hunter, so you get a boost when you're the only Megaraptor around. You don't want an army of these things. I targeted another parasaur with the hunt ability and then ran it down before spotting a Deinonychus nest just chilling out in the open. Oh, 145, no way. I'm still not totally sure why I'm glowing like I am. Oh, because I'm hunting, maybe? Well, there's another Megaraptor. A male 135? Oh, I need to tame that. I really don't want to break another 8 torches on another Megaraptor's head again. It's really time consuming. So that being said, I decided to stay on the lookout for a better torch as I could possibly find one eventually from a drop or something. Okay, Elsa, you've been a good wyvern, but you've definitely served your purpose. I think it's time that we go get some better wyvern eggs, or at least one. I want a fire wyvern, but I'm pretty sure the fire wyvern trench is like fully underground, so that can be very risky going to get one. So you can't just fly up and out, you've got to circle out through the caves. While flying over, I did stop by to grab some free beaver tacks that was just chilling out in the open. And as I made it to the snow there was a red drop coming down, so I waited for that to land. Now flying into the actual wyvern trench, I soon spotted the first ice wyvern egg, so I landed to check it out. Oh, 25, I am not picking that up. I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but I guess I'm going into the caves to look for better eggs. I did see a second egg outside, but one of the ice wyverns actually noticed me and clearly didn't like me trespassing. One in the mesh right there. Oh, there's 2 eggs. Who's this guy in the mesh? Oh, a level 180? It was in fact a level 180, so now I really need to see what level those eggs are. Instead of waiting for the wyverns to peace out, I decided to fly up to them real close and personal and then lead them away from the nests. Look at these tasty RGs over here. One of the 2 wyverns clearly didn't like my trade offer though and kept on chasing me for a while, but eventually it gave up since I didn't commit theft just yet. There's more, dude. Yeah, there's a bunch of eggs over here on this side now. So I flew down to the bottom to check out one of the eggs while the wyverns were busy burning alive. Oh, it's on fire. This egg was only a level 20 though, so I flew over to the opposite side nest. So 150, pretty good. I'm hoping this 180, even though it's in the mesh, I'm hoping it laid an egg. Could be this one. So I grabbed the 180 egg and I nonchalantly dipped while the wyverns tried to use their pathetic breath to slow down another ice wyvern. I got what I came for. Good day to you all. And as a cherry on top, there was a red drop coming down in front of me as well, so I flew over to cop that too. There you go. Oh, 135? That could be a good tame. I marked that bad boy down on my map before taking the few bits of polymer that the red drop had to offer and then flying back towards base. I did stop by 2 more drops, the first one being a yellow drop with a ring, and inside I found a pair of Mastercraft flippers, some gasoline, and a bunch of other random junk. Now the second red drop had a fresh pair of riot kicks for me, so I now had a full set of riot gear to burn alive in. Now, I did arrive back at base, but I didn't land as I spotted another red drop falling not too far away. And when I got close, I actually saw that it had a ring, and the loot inside was pretty insane. Whoa. Unfortunately, I didn't actually need the fab snipers, but I did take the one with the higher damage stat and those ascended scuba leggings. Then once I finally landed at base, I threw the egg out the hatch and sorted out the rest of my inventory. Whoa, no shot, I pulled triplets of 180s. Oh, what are the odds? I quickly did some reorganizing in the front yard so I could whistle the babies out of the hatchery. And my luck didn't stop there, as when I got to imprinting them on day 29, this happened. Oh, this one just wants a cuddle. Well, they all want cuddles? Dude, what are the odds? Okay guys, Nerd Granty here. The odds of this happening are pretty slim, since the chance to get triplets from any egg is only 2%. And getting all 3 of the triplets to also need a cuddle for imprint is a 1 in 3 chance. So 3 times in a row, that's like really improbable. I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay, now that I have 4 giant wyverns, I need more space in the base, and I don't want to just expand with spike walls. It's time to just bite the bullet and set up more towers so I can wall them off. I did already have most of the structures crafted for one more tower in the storage box I placed earlier. So I made more walls and then grabbed everything, and then threw it onto Bluebird and flew him outside to start cooking. These guys are all grown up. I don't feel like raising them right now though, or feeding them, so I'm just gonna cryo them. I did also have an uninvited guest walk straight into my base, but for the first time ever, I decided to not force feed him a shotgun shell down his throat. This parasaur just wanders into my base. Is this Perry reincarnated? Oh, I'm taming him. While Perry the reincarnated tamed, I continued building up the 3rd tower. Okay, there's that tower. I think I'm gonna make up a bunch more foundations and just get the layout for the whole base, maybe. I think that'll be easier than just building one tower at a time. That being said, I did have to go and restock on some basic supplies. That's if I could even find my tools. Where's my chainsaw? How did I just lose a whole chainsaw? Oh, there it is. I repaired it and grabbed some gas and headed out with Bluebird to stock up on wood and thatch. And of course, I couldn't miss out on a free red drop either, and this one hooked me up with an Ascended scuba tank. After flying back home, I started crafting up a ton of foundations, and I then peacefully removed a trespasser from my property. And I got to work on actually laying out the foundations. Okay, I've got the general layout here for what's going to be the whole castle, so you can see where I've got like more towers built off. This is going to take a lot of resources to farm, and there is zero chance that I'm doing that right now. Instead, I wanted to level up one of my 180 wyverns so I could actually use it. I brought the Anki back inside and sorted out my stuff, and I renamed the parasaur that I tamed by now, Perry V2. I had a ton of eggs ready in the oviraptors, so I grabbed a handful of them and threw them out to incubate. Oh yeah, this guy's doing a lot of damage. With the 54 levels that I got, I pumped them into the wyvern's health all the way up to 15,000 and the stamina all the way up to 2,000. Yeah, I don't really care for melee that much. I want a fire wyvern anyway. Now, I know I said I wouldn't be doing any building right now, but I actually changed my mind as I can make my base a lot safer with a little bit of effort. I could just farm up a decent amount of walls and just throw them up to have this fully blocked in. Might as well, dude. I still had plenty of resources left, so I crafted up a bunch of walls. And just as I headed out to actually place them down, I spotted this guy just chilling there. Oh, outside my base? Are we serious? Okay, yeah, good thing I'm putting up these walls. Let's get these up immediately. And just as I got to placing the actual gate down, the Megaraptor noticed me, so I quickly slapped it down. No! Oh, it's pathfinding in, dude. Luckily, I could actually pick this guy up with a wyvern just in time as he did get inside the base. I mean, I honestly want to tame it. Where's its spire? I couldn't find it anywhere, but for now, I didn't care. I had to get these walls up as soon as possible. I crafted up a couple of foundations to make realigning the gate easier, and I made a few more walls to finish the temporary layout. Alright, let's finish placing these walls. Okay, there we go. My base is fully walled off so I can pick up these spikes. Now I've got all this real estate to work with. I mean, obviously it's not like completed by any means. It's walled off so I've got more space and hopefully no Megaraptors running into my base. After picking up all the spikes, I actually lined them up at the front just to add that slight little bit of protection to the wall. There we go. More defenses from Megaraptors, the better. Again, I'll build these towers up some other time, but not right now. I think I'm gonna leave this ledge open. Maybe we'll make like a flyer platform here or something. Okay, so between recording sessions, I've been doing some research here, and it seems I think the best way to defeat the boss is using fairies, a Yudi, and then I'd like to bring in one Megaraptor, and then as well as one Deinonychus to hopefully do some bleed damage, maybe even 2 or 3. But fairies seem to be the best just because you can put veggie cakes in them, and the boss does summon Deinonychus, which like actually do bleed damage, so you really want your dinos to be able to heal up a little bit. It was also about time that I started raising a boss army here, so I got to work. Frostbite. I first needed to make a trap, so I flew down to gather some thatch as that was pretty much all I was missing. Need more narcotics, man. I did have a decent amount of narcotics, but I wanted to make more just in case I needed them. I also had that Mastercraft Parasaur saddle, so that was just another reason to put Perry V2 to work. I did keep a couple of Mayho berry stacks as well before coming back inside to cook the narcotics and turn those into trank arrows. Alright, now we begin the hunt for Therizinos. I didn't know of any good Theri spawns though, so I did a quick search online to figure out where the best spot was to actually find them. Okay, they're like exclusively on the right side of the map. I basically just had to slowly fly through the thick jungles of Valguero in hopes of stumbling into a high level. Thought that was a Theri? That's a rock. And oddly, Theri-shaped rock was not the only thing of interest that I saw in these forests though. Whoa! Flying Capro. Anyways, getting the tickle chickens tamed would only be half of the problem solved. I also need to spend days grinding out veggie cakes for them too. You know what? I got 2 good Rex saddles already, and I'm yet to see a single Therizino. I think it's a sign that I have to use Rexes for the boss fight. Okay, yeah, screw Theries. I'll use Rexes, a Megaraptor, and 1 or 2 Deinonychus, and then a Yudi as well. I think that'll be a pretty strong army. However, my Rexes were pretty garbage in terms of stats, so I did want to go out and actually tame better ones at least. You see, with this Rex saddle, and I think I've got another one somewhere, yeah. This gives me hopes that I can pull a blueprint out of a drop. If I can get a Rex saddle blueprint, that would be amazing. So the plan was just to tame as many Rexes as I could, then breed the 2 best stats out to a pair so I could get an army going. Looking at the current stats, I needed something above 8,000 health and 307 melee, as those were the stats on my better Rex. So that being said, I hopped back on Frostbite and flew out towards the middle of the map where I knew I could find a lot of Rexes. And I also kept looting drops for that saddle blueprint, especially the drops that had rings. In 45, I landed on a hill above it and began raining arrows down on it. Of course, the Rex fell asleep right on top of a saber-tooth attacking something, so at first looked like it was definitely gonna get hit a bunch and lose a bunch of taming effectiveness. No! There was a dead Ovis right next to the sleeping Rex, so I smacked it up for some mutton and then fed the Rex to find out if it actually got hit or not. Okay, it didn't get hit, it still got 100% taming effectiveness. While it slowly tamed up, I took off on Frostbite again to keep scouting the area some more. The scouting continued into day 33, and I also tried to kill any low-level betas that I found to allow new ones to spawn in. Email 145. Valg does seem to have pretty good level dinos, it's always nice. By the time I got this female knocked out, the first Rex had actually tamed, so I flew back over to pick it up. Oh, are we getting attacked? While killing the Bronto, I used the breath attack to get some extra damage in, forgetting that it also damages my own tames. Oh yeah, I forgot wyverns can damage your own tames. That's annoying. The breath attack, at least. Anyways, the Rex's health came out much better than my 2 Rexes back at home, but the melee was even worse. So back to taming more, I guess. I flew back up to feed the second Rex, and I waited around for it to wake up. Rex is tamed. Oh, yo, chill, dude. This one had considerably better melee damage while having slightly less health, so overall it is a good tame, I guess. But I still want to try and get something a little bit better, so I kept on looking. 145, okay. Just go snag this red drop first. Guess I'll take it. It's a terrible shotgun though. What I've got is way better. On day 34, I returned to the 145 Rex and knocked it out. Got it. Hey, not a safe area. The pre-tame stats were also not looking great on this one. Anywho, I fed it the mutton and I did one more lap around the general area, but I couldn't see any other high-level Rexes, so it looked like I'm just gonna have to work with what I got. So I flew back to wait on this final Rex to tame. It still had a small chance of being good after all. These have decent stats? Yeah, no, not really. Alright, that's all the Rexes I feel like taming. We're just gonna have to deal with what we got. I did spot a level 135 literally right below me as I was flying back home, but honestly, I can't be asked to tame another. Do I tame it? No, I'm not taming. I'm not taming any more Rexes. Back at base, I grabbed the 1 Rex with the highest melee and the other one with the good health and brought them outside. I also cryoed the old 2 Rexes since I wouldn't need them anymore. I should make another fridge for leveling in here. I placed the fridge down next to my grill and brought all the eggs over to it. I also did a little bit of tame reorganizing since they were all over the place before chucking the other Rex out as well and getting the 2 mating. Okay, we've got these Rexes breeding now. Need to try and breed out a breeding pair with, I don't even want to say the good melee because the melee's not good. I think the health is alright though. Anyways, we need a Rex with both of the stats, or 2 of them actually. On a side note, my forges had cooked through most of the metal and I had over 5,000 ingots that I had to transfer over to the fabricator. I unlocked the industrial forge engram and looked into actually making one, but I was only missing 1 drop of oil, some crystal, and then polymer. Before heading out to get any of that though, I had to wait for the first Rex egg to actually hatch. This Rex is terrible. Okay, I need to go farm oil and crystal. I'll farm crystal, obviously with the Quetzal and Anki, but I think I'm gonna have to fly out to get the oil with my RG. I farmed enough crystal for the Indie Forge as well as probably the rest of the 100 days, so I flew back to base to store it all away before hopping on the RG. I then picked up the Anki and began flying all the way across the map to the oil cave. Farming all the oil I think I'll need for the rest of this 100 days. I mean, it's easy to farm here. It's just far from my base. I don't care to fly over here that often. All right, that should definitely be enough oil. Just cry out my Anki and fly back to base. When I arrived back at base, I brought some of the oil into the fabricator, fired it up, and forgot that I actually needed polymer as well. So on day 36, I flew down to the beach to smack up a few beach dolphins. Perfect. Should have just about enough with this. Let me make sure there's not any more. Oh, there we go. After farming those up, I actually stopped by my fishing shack that was still intact. Anyways, when I returned back home, I transferred all the polymer into the fabricator and then finally crafted up the Indie Forge. After that, I grabbed the 4 eggs that my Oviraptor had collected and threw them all out to hatch. And one of the eggs actually popped out as twins, however, they didn't get the good stats. Fortunately though, I did actually get at least one male with a good HP and melee stat, but the rest of them, well, they've gotta go. Once they were taken care of, I named and fed the one traumatized Rex. It did request a cooked meat jerky for imprint, but I actually had some from collecting drops, so I got 100% imprint on it to see the stats after that. Okay, I'm gonna wait till this grows up and then do some leveling, see what the stats come out as. In the meantime, I cryoed up the old male Rex as his services were no longer needed. He can now rest in the cryo fridge for all of eternity. As the perfect male Rex was about to mature, I threw a bunch of eggs out of the hatchery and waited around. Once it was grown up, I saddled it up, pet Cody, and mercilessly ate through all the offsprings for XP. Okay, being completely honest with you guys, my Rexes are terrible, but if I manage to get good shadows, they should be good enough for the boss, I think. I don't know, that's what I'm just gonna run with. Hopefully with the Megaraptor and Deinonychus bleed, that helps out some too. Maybe I even tame a Daydon just to do a little bit of healing. Anywho, I brought the male over to the female to breed. It was also about time that I continued building up my base. Alright, I think it's time that I finish off these walls here. And then I'd like to start going out and getting artifacts, but I can't bring artifacts to a base that's half finished and look like this. So let's first farm some stone and then wood and thatch. You know how this process goes by now. Alright, I've built all that I could so far. We're gonna have to go farm more. Yeah. As I got wrapped up with yet another farming session, it started to rain as usual on Valguero for some reason. But this time the rain actually provided me the perfect scenery to look at my base from afar. Oh yeah, the castle looks so cool from here. It's gonna look so good when it's finished. Okay, finally, that's all the walls placed. Now I need to do pillars, ceilings, doors, and railings. I got a lot of work, man. A lot of work. So the base work continued into day 40. Okay, there's all the doors. Now I just need ceilings and railings, but I've got to go farm more, as usual. After said farming run, I started crafting all the ceilings. And on day 41, I actually got to finishing up all the walls. Okay, finally, that's all the ceilings done. Now just the railings. This is taking way longer than I thought it would. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going insane building this base, causing me so much pain. I was, however, very close to being finished. I just needed to place the core walls and railing on the towers themselves, and the castle would finally be complete. So I crafted another unholy amount of said quarter walls and then placed them all down. I did have to go out and gather a little bit of thatch as well, but finally, as day 41 came to an end, the build was complete. Finally, man, I'm done. Oh, fully expanded all the walls, got all the castle pillars. I just need to put some ladders in them, but that's about it. It looks really good, don't get me wrong. Dude, that took 5 days, multiple real life hours. I'm going crazy, man. It was the early morning of day 42 when I realized I forgot to place the industrial forge down. So I brought my RG over to pick up the old forges and store all the resources onto the bird and then place the new big forge back down. Let me slap 2 other foundations right here and then we'll put the forge in. Yeah, I think that works. I didn't like the fact that it was hanging over the edge though. So I wanted to add a few more foundations out front, which also meant that I'm gonna have to move the trough.
Oh, we got another red drop. Hold up, let me go snag those.
I crafted a few ladders and grapples so I could even climb up to my wyvern.
Don't wyverns harvest thatch? Oh yeah, they are good at harvesting thatch.
Back in my base, I crafted the few extra foundations and placed them down to expand on my forge's platform. I also lined up 3 storage boxes next to it as I was starting to need the extra storage space to store all my charcoal, wood, and other resources. Finally, I placed the trough back down under the hatchery window and I can now get back to my fatherly duty. I grabbed a bunch of Rex eggs and threw them out the hatch as I still needed to get a perfect female.
Oh, there's a perfect female.
And they were twins too. I claimed all the other Rexes and only 2 of them were unlucky enough to not get the good stats, so they got sent onto a better world. The rest of them I whistled outside so I could start imprinting them.
Oh, this guy wants regular kibble. Back to the lobby. Pinto berry, taste of kibble.
So I imprinted the Rexes that didn't get overly greedy cravings and then cryoed up the old female as well, so she could join the father in the cryo fridge, for the rest of the eternity of course. The baby Rexes also needed feeding, so I actually headed out on my Megaraptor to do a little bit of hunting. Back at base on day 43, I filled up the trough and I crafted a primitive Rex saddle so I could reorganize the Rexes once they actually grew up. The 2 perfect females were moved to breed with the perfect male, and I renamed the rest of them to Boss and then moved them to the edge as well.
Okay, I like frostbite, but I think it's time for me to try and get a fire wyvern. I just like fire wyverns better, man.
I wanted to get one eventually, so why not just go get it now? I hopped on frostbite and I flew out to the trench again where a red drop awaited me as usual.
Okay, so pretty sure I just fly down here.
I was still overheating even though I had my ghillie and kipper on me, so I'm gonna have to be quick here. This place is huge. Oh, it's below me. As I got closer, I saw the wyverns and eggs appear, and one of them was a level 175, so I could potentially snag a good egg. I did get spotted by one of the parents though, so I had to do a little bit of dogfighting before I could go grab any eggs.
Got it.
The first egg I checked was only a level 95, so I left it be.
I swear the 175 is going to be down below me. See, that's going to do a lot of damage. I mean, my shotgun does a lot of damage, but I don't think enough.
I tried to spyglass the egg, but I couldn't quite see the level. But considering the 175 was circling it though, I assumed that's probably gotta be its egg.
Screw it.
So I shot at it a few times, but I was forced to take off after it breathed fire on frostbite. I could however slow it down with my breath and try to lead it away, but the wyvern's AI was actually sort of smart this time.
Oh, is it really flying back to its nest?
Once it was aggro to me again, I stood on business and fought it head on.
It's dead. Okay, I gotta quick.
I flew down to the nest and thankfully the egg was a level 175, so I just had to wait for frostbite to regain some stamina before I could take off and dip.
Grab this egg and get out.
Surprisingly, none of the wyverns were actually chasing me, so I kinda just left unbothered.
And we're out. Let's go back to base and hatch this up.
Back at base, I quickly sorted out my stuff and I threw the fire egg out in the hatchery.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I mean, stats look to be much better than my ice wyverns. It's just gonna put out way more damage. I don't like ice wyverns.
And thankfully, it only wanted to go for a walk, so I got the full imprint on it as well.
Oh yeah, stats looking real nice.
While the wyvern grew up, I could start raising my boss army. There were a few eggs in my oviraptor already, so I grabbed all of them and threw them out to incubate.
Oh, my meat run's already gone. I have to do another one.
But first, I waited for all the Rexes to pop so I could claim them and then name them. I also had to get them out of the hatchery, but that was slightly more inconvenient since their AI really didn't want to go through the gate for some reason. And I couldn't even pick up the gate because it was damaged. So since most of them were getting stuck on the grill, I just picked up the wall and window instead, but that didn't help either.
Oh, you gotta go.
Anywho, I imprinted the Rexes that I could, and I shot the other ones that were too needy. To get the less developed Rexes out of the hatchery, I had to pick up the whole grill as well, but I got there in the end. Running over to check on my wyvern, I was actually caught off guard by its trait.
What is the meat bearing trait? What? Ark's getting freaky, dude. Alright, I gotta lock in.
Freaky wyvern aside, I moved my Deinonychus further back to free up more space, and I added a couple of stairs to my forge as a quality of life upgrade.
Oh, here we go. Torch.
I headed out for a quick test drive with Torch since I needed raw meat anyways.
Oh yeah, see, this damage is much more to my liking.
But before I could do a proper meat run, I had to level up Torch properly, so I grabbed a bunch of eggs from the fridge and then threw them out. In the meantime, I repaired the dino gate so I could actually pick it up if I needed to. Cody also had a bunch of levels on him already from all the killing that he had to bear witness to, so I pumped them all into melee damage before the baby Rexes came to be, only to become food for the wyvern 3 seconds later. So I then pumped Torch's health up to 10,000 and then stamina to 2,000, and then the rest of the points just went into melee.
Alright, let's go farm meat now. This guy's leveled. Oh, gang.
Back at base, I landed torch on one of the towers and I parked the now fully grown Rexes by the edge of the cliff. I also crafted up a bunch of ladders to place down in the towers and moved my feeding trough to the middle of the base so all the dinos could eat from it.
What, how many Rexes do I have? 10? And then I'll do like, I need like 3 or 4 more Rexes, I think.
I did also have 2 more high-level Deinonychus eggs, so I threw those out to hatch. The first egg popped out triplets, however their stats were not as good as the other ones.
I think this one might be my best one. None of these guys are really good. Hold up. Yeah, I'm hoping I can imprint this one.
I waited for the timer and luckily it just wanted a quick cuddle, so I had the full imprint on my strongest Deinonychus.
This is gonna be my good Deinonychus. These other guys, let's not talk about what I'm doing to them. Fluffy. So I actually want to try and use Fluffy as my caving creature to get artifacts. I normally use a Thyla, but come on, this is Valguero. I gotta use something different.
I didn't quite remember where the artifact caves were though, so I did have to do a little bit of research for that. But before I can go out to any cave, I of course had to get Fluffy leveled up, so F's in the chat for 10 Rexes that I threw out to hatch.
Man, these things are quick.
The downside to Deinonychus was the fact that they were pretty small and squishy. I barely got its health up to 5,000 and I needed to put some levels into weight and stamina too.
Okay, I'm gonna fly over to the green obelisk here and see what artifacts I actually need for the boss fight. Now, I'm only planning to do Gamma. Simply just, I pump these videos out so quick. There really aren't any good strategies to do the boss yet. I don't really even know anything about the boss, except that it's terrifying. Also, I think we all remember what happened when I played Ragnarok. I did the Gamma boss and nearly lost. Like that thing, noon attack, super strong. So I'm really worried that if I go for alpha, it's just gonna be another, yeah, I'll just get wrecked. I won't even have a chance. And I really like ending my videos where I'm actually able to beat the boss.
Anyways, as I landed on the obelisk, I had to pack up a couple of raptors before I could actually check the requirements. Okay, so I need the artifact of the Devourer, Skylord, Hack. Okay, only 3 artifacts, that's not bad. And some tributes. Okay, I wasn't really expecting that, I'm not gonna lie. So just doing some research here. Remember that loot cave that I checked out so many days ago? And there was no loot in it, no drops? That's actually where the artifact of the Skylord is. And apparently I've got to go underwater to get to the first artifact room, so I definitely gonna have to use my shotgun to blast any ops that try and stop me. I was running really low on shells though, so I had to farm up a bunch more. I still only had 4 mortar and pestles, and they're starting to feel a bit outdated, so I think it's about time that I upgrade to a chemistry bench. I unlocked the engram and looked at the crafting requirements, for which I was missing a lot of electronics, some polymer, and spark powder. So I queued up as many GPUs as I could, but I was short on pearls, so I grabbed my scuba and then headed out.
Why do you get like stuck to the floor? Look at this. You swim into it. Boom, stuck. This has to be a glitch. I think this is enough pearls.
Back at base, I started crafting the rest of the electronics up, and as I was heading out to go and get polymer, I noticed something uncanny poking through the hatchery walls.
Hello? Who's this?
Anyways, I flew down to the beach and I chopped up a couple of beach dolphins for all the polymer that I needed.
There's the chemistry bench.
I picked up the campfire and all the mortar and pestles so I could place the chemistry bench down. Now the real gunpowder production could begin, so I loaded it up with spark powder and charcoal.
Oh, this is like all structures. You run into them, you get stuck. Look at that. Like this is weird. Like I run into it. I'm not tweaking, am I? Look, I run into this, I get stuck. Like I feel like normally you would bounce off. Am I going crazy?
Not sure what was up with that, but I needed more spark powder, so I headed out to get some with my RG and Anki. When I returned, I filled up the chemistry bench and I also crafted a holoscope for my shotgun. Also, there was a red drop coming down with a ring not too far away from my base, so of course I've got to go over there and get it.
Whoa. Oh, 185 armor Rex saddle. Man, I just need a blueprint. Oh, holy dude.
The saddle was a big blessing from the Ark gods, as I did need strong ones, but a blueprint would have been really clutch so I could actually craft it for all of my Rexes. While the shotgun shells were crafting on day 47, I headed out to test out the Deinonychus.
This thing is so quick.
They could actually jump and glide pretty far, and also they can cling on the walls like a Thyla. But unlike the Thyla, the Deinonychus can also cling on to a bigger animal. Soon the entirety of the raptor gang showed up and we all attacked the Bronto, so it got absolutely shredded.
Oh, I've got the whole raptor nation over here. Look at that. That poor Procoptodon.
Anywho, I did see a red drop coming down in the distance, so I started heading over to it while killing any unsuspecting prey that I came across on the way.
Right, maybe I'm not getting that red drop. I don't know how I'm gonna get up there.
Instead, I got up to solid high ground and jumped back towards base.
I don't really know how fall damage works on these boys. Don't want to risk it. I killed a few more parasaurs outside my gates before coming back in to grab my shotgun shells. Since that Skylord artifact cave was in the chalk hills, I headed out on the Deinonychus so I wouldn't have to worry about cryoing anything. Got my scuba, got my shotgun. Let's do this. This time I wasn't flying on a PT though, so I would actually have to worry about all the cave critters. Oh! The levels of the snakes were pretty high as well, so they tanked quite a few shots from the shotgun. Okay, well there's the lake I gotta jump in. Are these guys good swimmers? Let's find out. No, not good swimmers. And to make matters worse, the lake was infested with piranhas. Oh, we're joking, there's piranhas in here. Oh, there's a lot of piranhas. With the coast now somewhat clear, I left Fluffy at the little island and dove under the water to get to the artifact room. It was a bit hard to see from all the fog, but eventually I found the way I had to go. Yeah, there goes fog. Screw that. Oh, no! I grappled up to the ceiling just in time and found myself in what looked to be an artifact room. Who are these? Are these people? There were a ton of cave nasties down below me, and I really didn't want to fight through all of them. So instead I shot them to get their attention to get them over near me towards the water. I then opened up a parachute and re-grappled to the ceiling in the middle of the cave to try to find the actual artifact. Oh, there it is. There was a Megalena actually camping it, so I packed it up before going to grab it. I then immediately grappled back up and slowly launched myself back into the water so I could make my escape. Hey Fluffy, let's get out of here. With artifact number 1 secured, I ran out of the cave and all the way back to base. I unlocked the artifact pedestal and crafted one, but I didn't have a specific spot to actually place it down at. I do want to make a cool place for a throne for Kipper and artifacts, but I'm not building that right now. For right now, let's put it right here. On day 48, I got blessed with another red drop coming down in the distance. Red drop with a ring? I've just got to keep farming red drops, man. They give me so many good Rex saddles, and hopefully I'm able to pull a blueprint. I flew over and waited for it to land. Unfortunately, there weren't any good Rex saddles or saddle blueprints inside, but I did get another Ascended scuba tank, some gas, and a couple of medical brews. Not as lucky out of this one though. Just as I arrived back to base, I noticed another red drop coming down near me, so I turned right back around to go get it. Oh, see, another Rex saddle. I literally just have to farm these drops, get my saddles for my army. It's too easy. When I arrived back home, I put the new saddle on one of my Rexes and sorted the rest of my stuff out. I think I'm gonna raise like 4 more Rexes, and then we'll have the Yudi, maybe 2 Deinonychus, and a Megaraptor, maybe even a Daydon. I'm not sure. That being said, I threw out 4 Rex eggs to hatch and waited around until they all popped out so I can imprint on them too. Both of these guys want Tinto berries, cooked fish meat, cooked meat jerky. Okay, that's relatively easy. I didn't have any fish meat yet, so I flew down to the local pond to kill and harvest a salmon. I also grabbed the few Tinto berries that I needed and then imprinted all the Rexes. Okay, now that I got these babies imprinted and slowly growing up here, I want to do a metal run with Bluebird, the Quetzal. I'm yet to do a metal run with it, and kinda the whole reason that I tamed it. We're gonna farm so much. When the addiction calls, I answer, regardless if the Anki feels like it or not. So I picked it up and slowly flew over to my usual farming spots. Oh, a chalk golem right here. Not interested in you, dude. Its green eyes are cool, but I just want the metal, man. This golem wants me. The metal grind continued into day 49. After I was done with that, I made it back home and emptied the Anki's inventory to transfer it over to the industrial forge. And I amassed a total of almost 15,000 raw metal. Over half an indie forge full. Oh yeah. The Rexes were now fully grown as well. So I parked them over by the rest and headed out to do a little bit of killing as my trough was out of meat as usual. And the Rexes have a lot of healing to do as well. What is this? Is that a fish? Oh, it's gone, I guess. Red drop. The red drop didn't have anything of use for me though, so I just flew back home to feed my tames. On day 50, I moved some of my female Rexes around so I could form a small breeding circle as it was time to start power leveling my army. I want to go test how much damage this Rex does, and we also got like a ton of red drops coming down. But I actually parked it back in the hatchery as I wanted to go grab all the drops first. So I climbed up to torch as usual and headed out to the first drop. Oh, good UD saddle, no way. That's awesome. And the second drop had a 93 armor Rex saddle. Oh, and see, this is why I get the red drops, dude. You just can't pass up on 3 Ascendant Rex saddles. The third and final drop was terrible, but the 2 previous ones sure made up for it. Anyways, I flew back home and I took the leveled Rex out for a testing run. Let's see what type of damage we're working with. I challenged a wild level 140 Rex, and yeah, the damage is pretty low, but I can still work with it, especially if I also have a UD and mate buff in the fight. So I waddled back up the base
base and cryoed up the Rex, and threw it back out inside as I couldn't fit it through the main gate. But now it's finally time to get back to power leveling the rest of my army. Also, I did occasionally go out and loot any red drops that I spotted while doing this. Holy structures. Got a whole grinder. I mean, I don't use grinders. I'll probably just demolish it for resources. And you know, the power leveling continued all the way through day 51. On day 52, I flew out to collect a few red drops that I saw. The first one was pretty worthless, but the second one actually had a nice piece of Ryan armor for me, as well as a whole cooker. Okay, I'll take more good armor. Oh, a cooker? No shot. Oh, BP, I don't need that. I already have one. That was a good drop. The third red drop was pretty mid too, so I started flying back towards base, only to see another red drop again. The one that I already opened, that is. Oh wait, I'm an idiot, I already looted that. So I flew back home to continue power leveling. On day 53, I was off to grab more red drops. The first one hooked me up with some gas and a mind wipe tonic that might actually come in handy later on, but the second, third, and fourth drops were all completely useless. Okay, let's finish leveling these last Rexes here. Okay, finally, that's all my Rexes leveled up. Man, that took a while. On day 54, I actually wanted to set up that industrial cooker that I found in the red drop. But first, I had to get rid of all the evidence inside this hatchery. I think I'll just place it in here. It fits good. And then now I've got to get it irrigated and connected to water. So I unlocked the water intake engram and crafted one as well as a tank to help bring irrigation up to my base. See a red drop over there? Cannot miss that. Need all the saddles I can get. There was a Rex saddle in the red drop, but it was only a ramshackle with 50 armor. I mean, that's a saddle, but not a very good one. Better than primitive though. When I returned back home, I flew down to the local pond to set up that intake. I also placed a tank down next to my main tower that irrigated the cooker. Now, one more thing I needed to set up was a water tap, so I could fill up my canteens from the base. So I crafted one and placed it on the gate of the hatchery. So now that I got this cooker, I obviously want to make my own medical brews since I have boar right now, but I want to tame a Procoptodon to farm the berries, just because they're really good at farming. They're quick, easy to bounce around, and honestly, I like Procoptodons, so I just want to have one. So first, let's make a saddle for it. I just needed some pelt and fiber to make it, so I whipped out the sickle and trimmed the grass in my compound. As for the pelt, I hopped on Torch and flew down to kill a few ovis, as those give plenty of it. Okay, that should be enough for the saddle, I think. When I returned back, I crafted the saddle and grabbed a few tranks. I could also just pick up the Procoptodon and bring it back to base with Torch, so I just had to set up the trap inside my base. I don't think I have any structures left over. I have walls, I just need foundations. Okay, now let's go find a high level. They were pretty common here in the Chalk Hills, so finding the perfect one should be a walk in the park. They seem to be everywhere. Oh yeah, they are absolutely, there's literally like 5 right here. Even though there were so many of them, I only found my first high level on day 55. There we go, 140. Okay, you're coming with me. Back at base, I dropped it into the trap on my first try, of course. Trap, boom. Oh, what? Why did it like fling out? I then dropped it in on my first try. Oh, I got it. No way. I parked Torch on the tower and ran down to knock out the kangaroo. There we go. She's out. Okay, I think they eat rare mushrooms from memory, right? I think I do have some. Oh yeah, 18, surely that's enough. With the Procop taming, I picked up the trap and enabled mating on my Rexes again so I could get some eggs to level up the Procoptodon. I just needed to put a bunch of weight into it so I can carry a bunch more berries at a time. Also, I looked into the Indie Forge and it has already smelted through all the metal that I farmed. Holy metal, that's what I'm talking about. Anywho, the Procop soon tamed and I named her Bunny. Throw the saddle on and let's hatch up these Rex eggs, get it some levels before we start farming. That took a while, but all the baby Rexes are dead. Now let's pump all these points into weight here. I got it up to 2,500 weight, so I hopped out of base and went out to do some serious lawn mowing. With a ton of berries farmed in no time, I hopped back home and I started cooking up a bunch of narcotics. I then brought all the tinto berries over into the cooker and got the medical brews actually cooking.
Oh, hello there!
What? Looks like it's like in the floor. Can't damage them? What? Hold up. Let me go in around here. Yeah, there we go. Not sure how they got under the floor, but on now. I headed out for a second little lawn mowing session just before the end of the day. Sweet. Alright, now we can heal on the fly if we need to. And on day 56, I wanted to get back into the Taming Spear as there was still one key dino that I'm actually yet to tame for the boss fight. Okay, so I always make the mistake of forgetting to tame a Yudi
until like day 90, so I'm actually gonna do that right now. Just, you know, so I don't forget. I grabbed the simple trap, the Mastercraft saddle that I had, and headed out to the snow on Torch. Red drop, red drop, red drop. The red drop despawned as I got closer, so I just started scouting the ground for any oversized furry chickens instead. First Yudi, 100. Nah, that's not that good. I'm gonna kill it. The next Yudi I found was a level 135, and that seemed like a much better deal. So I first started clearing the area of any potential threats. Oh, they're throwing poop at me. Alright, nice. Whoa. Who are you? That second Yudi actually ended up fear roaring my wyvern, so I had to hop off and introduce it to the boomstick. Oh, there's both of them. Once Torch was done fleeing out of fear, I flew back and killed the second Yudi, as well as a wolf that was chasing it and biting the toes of the 135. Got it. With the trap constructed, I ran back to get the Yudi's attention so I could lead it in on the first try. No! There's no shot. There's no shot. So when I got the Yudi's attention again, I kited it into the trap on the first try. Come on. Oh. Oh, I messed that up so bad. I have no idea where that second wall actually went, but the Yudi was stuck, so I quickly farmed up a wood wall before I could start knocking it out. To feed the giant chicken, I headed out to look for some free prime meat or a sheep to kill. Oh. Baby Rex will work perfectly. Oh, I've got prime meat on me. I'm an idiot. While flying back, I got distracted by a red drop, of course, down in the distance. And inside, I found a couple of stews, some polymer, and electronics. Where's that gecko? That would be a nice tame. Anyways, I fed that Yudi and started waiting around for it to finish taming by the end of the day. Hey, Yudi is tamed. I mean, stats look pretty good off tamed. Put a good saddle on it, fly back to base, and level it up so it can start healing. After packing the trap up, I flew back home. Then, after sorting out my inventory, I peeked into the fridge and grabbed a bunch of Rex eggs and threw them out. This Yudi has more health than my Rexes. What? Now that I pretty much had the boss army assembled and leveled, I could get back to spelunking and actually obtaining the rest of the artifacts. Okay, so next I need the artifact of the pack and devourer. Okay, so the artifact of the devourer, I just did some research. It's in a pretty interesting cave. I'm gonna have to do some preparations. I need probably some more shotgun shells. I need a lot more grapples. Maybe another cryo fridge or two so I can deploy my Deinonychus. Basically, quite a bit of work. So I first made a bunch of grapples as I already had the resources to craft them. Next up, I grabbed a ton of gunpowder that I had in the chemistry bench to make more shotgun shells, and while doing so, I noticed I had an absolutely goated Yudi saddle in the smithy. Oh, what is this Yudi saddle? I didn't even know I had this. This is even better. Anyways, I actually wanted to make even more grapples just to be safe. So I flew out on the RG to farm everything up for more arrows so I could use those to make said grapples. With a bunch more grapples made, on day 58, I queued up another stack of shotgun shells before getting ready to head out. Okay. Got over 300 shotgun shells, grapples. Let's head out to the cave. Unfortunately, after taking so much stuff with me, it made me quite heavy, and I couldn't actually move on Fluffy, so I had to drop off a few pieces of armor. There we go. Now, this cave wasn't as close as the first one, so I actually used Torch to pick up Fluffy and fly over to it. Yeah, I think this is it. I parked by the crystals, then hopped on Fluffy to get inside. Now, the entrance to the cave was closed off by this giant door that opened up with just a single press of a button. I don't really know if this place is booby trapped or anything. I don't really know what to expect at all, to be honest with you. What I did know is that I gotta jump down to the bottom of this ominous looking hole that seemed to go on forever. Well, guess there's no other way to do it. Just go. Oh, there's onyx everywhere. Oh no! I quickly got out of the water before the eels could do any serious damage, and I just booked it past everything else. I don't know where I'm going, I'm just running. I did run straight into a dead end, so I posted up with a shotgun for a second, making sure that nothing was following me. I think I might be okay. These look like breakable rocks. Okay, let's see where this leads me. I ran down the unusually lush corridor until I reached the next hall full of cave creatures. I approached it very carefully, first taking out the arthro so it wouldn't strip me naked with one spit. I then could take out the bats with Fluffy and shoot the other nasties that also wanted the smoke. While Fluffy wasn't the best in dealing damage, his running speed definitely made up for it, as I could just run past the bats and shoot them over and over until they all died. Got it. There we go. Now let's keep pushing. I thought I was good after taking out that gang of bats, but even more ops appeared out of nowhere, and I had to retreat to take them all out from a safe distance. Especially those arthros. Those are really the only threats here. Okay. Let's keep progressing through here. Oh, are we serious? Water? Oh, it's really shallow. I didn't get eaten by 50 piranhas the second I stepped foot in the water, so I swam back to Fluffy so we could both get through. Or that's what I hoped for at least. Oh no, can you not fit? I couldn't get Fluffy through, so I snuck past and used the photo mode to look around. Oh, there's a drop over there. And then I'm pretty sure the artifact I need is up in the ceiling. There was still more fighting I had to go through though before I could actually get to that though. And I had to make sure not to fall off by any means necessary. That floor is definitely an instant death floor. Where is this artifact? I know it's in the ceiling somewhere. I couldn't see it anywhere above me, so I pulled out my parachutes, grappled to the ceiling, and flung myself towards the back of the cave. I think the artifact's over this way. Got it. Okay. With the artifact secured, I carefully jumped off with a parachute and made my way back to Fluffy. I then ran all the way back to the big drop down, and I killed the swarm of bats that tried to assault me. Okay, now I just grapple up, I think. I put Fluffy in a cryopod before grappling up to the top and running out of the cave. The big gate was closed as I expected, so I looked around to find a button. How do I get out of here? I'm not seeing a button unless I'm just missing it. Oh yeah, the button's right here. I just couldn't see it. Okay. I thought I was stuck in here, I'm not gonna lie. Wouldn't be surprised if Wildcard forgot the button to get out. On my way back home, I stopped by a yellow drop with a ring that actually had some good loot inside. Holy sickle. Red drop. Alright, you convinced me. I'll go get it. After a decent amount of red drops, I found another Rex saddle in this one. I'm actually just farming them from this drop. Oh, and it's actively disappearing. But I still couldn't go back home as there was another red drop coming down in my field of view. And this one even had a ring, so you know I've got to fly over and grab it. These red drops are just crazy good. Another red... Dude, I'm farming these red drops at this point. I need all the Rex saddles.
Give me a...
I actually had to fight for this red drop, and the loot inside was, well... pretty mid, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and the drop farming was not over either. Another red drop entered my field of vision in the back of the chalk hill, so I copped that as well. When I finally made it back to base, I put the new Rex saddle on one of the boss Rexes. I've got a vault now, though. That'll be good for storage. Where do I place it though is the question. I'm running out of room. This base design looks cool, but its practicality can struggle a little bit sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. I placed the vault down inside one of the castle walls, but now there was a problem with actually accessing it directly from my tower as the chemistry bench was in the way. Let's pick this up. Yeah, I'll put it in here. Yeah, right there. I've got two. You know what? I'm balling. I'm placing two of my chemistry benches down. What are you gonna do to stop me? Now that I had the storage and chemistry bench situation sorted out, I could also put up the artifact for display next to the Indie Forge. Okay, now I'm also gonna need tributes. I need 5 Archie Talons, 5 Sarco Skins, 5 Titanic Boa Venom, 5 Sauropod Vertebrates, and 5 Aloe Brains. That's kind of expensive for a Gamma boss. Yeah, let's go farm that stuff up. It may have been a lot different stuff, but I didn't need loads of each tribute, so I hopped on Torch and started checking things off the list straight away. Okay, there's sauropods collected. Now, I think I can get the aloe brains pretty easy here in the Rock Hills. Oh, yeah. Whoa! Oh, no. Dude, that thing's dealing crazy damage. It's because it's level 140, that's why. Dude, I kind of want to tame one. Let me mark this on my map. With the golem marked, I continued farming up the tributes, and soon I got the last couple of aloe brains so I could move on to the Argy Talons. Oh, taxes. I won't turn these down. Oh, Ascended treasure map, no way. Okay. There's all the RG Talons. Now I need Sarco Skins and Titanic Boa Venom. Gotta go over to the swamp. Man, my wyvern took some damage there. I found a Dinosuchus in the swamp, so I killed it as those dropped Sarco Skins as well. On day 61, I finished collecting all the tributes while also opening 2 red drops and a yellow drop. The best thing I got from those was an Ascended fur cap though. As I was heading back to base, I course corrected over to another red drop, and this one was just as useless as the first few, only giving me some electronics. Okay, I only need one more artifact. Okay, I need the artifact of the pack. I'm gonna do some research on where to get that. And then honestly, man, we might go straight for the Gamma boss. And I know I said that was gonna be the ultimate goal, just beat the Gamma boss, but I feel like I can take down Gamma. I'm feeling pretty ballsy. Surely we beat Gamma and then go straight for Alpha at the end of this 100 days. I think that has to be the move. But I would definitely still need to get more Ascended Rex saddles from red drops. When I return back to base, I look through my Rexes and they're just doing alright in terms of healing. But if I wanted to hit the Gamma boss soon, I'm gonna have to invest in a Daydon. And I'm gonna put the tributes in the vault back here. I'd also like to get this Ascended treasure map. Let's make a shovel. Okay, and I just did some research on the whereabouts of the pack artifact, and it's in a poisonous cave where I need a gas mask. That's not good. But I feel like that cave also has the wild broodmother that's on this map, which is not good at all. I was also missing the absorbent substrate to craft a gas mask, which is also not good at all since to craft the substrate I need sap and black pearls. Neither of which I can actually be bothered to go out and get. I mean, I think if I use full scuba, I'll be okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to use full scuba, I guess, in the cave. That should keep me alive. I did have a mostly ascended set of scuba, so that would work just fine. What I was more concerned about though was Fluffy. You see, he does not deal enough damage to be able to take down higher level cave creatures. I need to tame a Thyla. I think that's the next mission objective. We'll get this treasure map and then we'll go tame a Thyla for better caving. Splunking, I should say. So that being said, I hopped on Torch and I flew down to dig up the treasure map that was actually pretty close to my base. Guess I'm in range. Oh, I got it. Oh, good ghillie. Okay. I made a quick trip back to base to grab all the Thyla taming essentials, such as the trap, tranks, and of course the cooked prime meat to actually tame it. Now with everything prepared, I took off again and flew over to the redwoods. Fortunately for me, this map has an enormous redwoods biome, so it was only a matter of time before I found a high level. And it actually barely even took me a minute. Oh my holy pool. Oh, don't fight the bear. I quickly yoinked the Thyla off the ground and headed back home with it. Actually, I'm gonna build a trap. Oh no, dude, what? Why would you run straight into the spikes? I constructed the trap on day 62 while the Thyla waited at my front door like a good boy. Why are you at my gates? He's trying to eat my Quetzal. Okay. Of course, I then proceeded to drop the Thyla into the trap on the first try. And I missed. So I parked Torch at base and then hopped on the Quetzal to drop the Thyla inside the trap on the first try. Oh my. I then finally got it in the trap. Got it. Okay. With the Thyla now trapped, I first politely removed a raptor from the property, then got to knocking it out. Once it led to sleep, I fed it the cooked prime meat and I parked Bluebird back up on his tower. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna take forever to tame. Hold up, wouldn't they like cooked mutton more? I need to consult Dodo Decks. The Thylas did in fact like cooked sheep more than cooked prime. So I hopped on Torch to fly down to the chalk hills and kill the first Ovis that I found. Oh no, she just fell into... Alright, now let's cook it in the grill here. Get out of my base, dude. With the cooked lamb chop now acquired, I fed it to the Thyla and tried one of them myself to see how much hunger it would actually restore. How much just cooked lamb chops feed me? Oh, it feeds me a lot. Even with the cooked lamb chops, the taming would take a solid minute. But I was basically just waiting for the Thyla now so I could go get the final artifact. I also need to make a Thyla saddle. With the saddle made, I just waited around for it to wake up. Here we go. Here's the Thyla. Gonna name it Cat. Next, I brought Cat straight into the hatchery to get him leveled up. Alright, we'll do 10k health and then melee. Alright, now let's go get some meat for this guy. We'll heal it up and then head out to the cave. Once I had Cat fully healed up, I ran back up to base and started crafting a few more shotgun shells before heading out. Okay, here we go. We got some more shotgun shells. Now let's head out to the cave. I picked Cat up with Torch, but then I accidentally flew over to a red drop coming down. Better right pants, gloves. Oh, a Daydon saddle. Sweet, that's awesome. These are about to break anyway. I'm just gonna drop them. And as I started flying towards the cave, another red drop crossed my path, so of course I peeped into it. Oh wait, Rex Saddle Blueprint! I didn't even see that. Oh, I got another absorbent substrate. Hold up. I can make a gas mask with this. No shot. Oh, it's pretty cheap. Okay. It's nothing crazy, but it's pretty cheap, which is nice. I can get some crafting skill, maybe get up to 60, 70 armor. That's not bad at all. I told you, this is why I've been farming red drops, man. I sorted my stuff out before grabbing the other absorbent substrate to make a gas mask. I'd still bring my scuba as a backup, but it's really nice to have this mask now. So this time I actually flew to the redwoods. And I soon found the cave entrance thanks to the huge amount of spider webs everywhere above it. Yep, there's the brood mother. I parked Torch up above it where it shouldn't get attacked by anything and slowly made my way down. I didn't want to fight the broodmother, so when it finally spotted me, I just legged it to the cave. Go, go, go. Okay, put on the gas mask. I'm in. There was a single bat that tried to stop me right at the entrance, so I force-fed it a shotgun shell before proceeding into the cave. I know there's like 3 artifacts in this cave. I gotta find where the artifact of the pack is. There was a bit of opposition up ahead that I quickly took care of before running up on a crouch point that I had to go through. A 285 Arthro? Let's get everything's attention. Bring it out this way. No! I got hit with spit! Okay, I've got scuba on. Does that keep me safe? Yeah, it does. I'm just gonna be moving slow. Oh, no shot. I had to keep it pushing though. So I shot the Arthro and continued deeper into the cave, blasting my way through ants and other cave creatures. We just gotta waddle through the cave here, man. Good thing is it has a lot of durability. I soon arrived at the crossing where I could go 2 different ways, so I used the photo mode to peek into each corridor. Okay, that didn't help me at all. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna keep going right. Right's gotta be right, right? I slowly walked through the entire corridor until I came up on a water part. Okay, I'm gonna pull out my sickle here in case there's anything in the water. Doesn't look like we've just got some normal fish. After surfacing on the other side, I was right by the artifact, so I grabbed it and turned right back around to leave. I walked back up to my thyla, killing a few bugs on the way. We then ran out of the cave and I climbed up to the top of the rocks to avoid fighting the broodmother. Climbing up was slightly awkward due to the fact that the cliffs were not exactly vertical. Oh, it's right there. But I did get up to a safe ledge, crowd up cat, and then grappled up to the top. And I'm out. Oh my. Let me out. Back at base, I wanted to prepare myself, but I didn't have enough organic polymers, so I had to head out to farm that. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to find any more dead dolphins, but I remember over in the swamp, there's a bunch of dead dinos. I wonder if they give polymer. I also wanted to get some obsidian for another artifact pedestal, so I stopped by a few nodes that I spotted while flying over to the swamp. After making it to the swamp, I copped a purple drop with a ring, and then I found one of those dead bodies that I was talking about. Please give me poly. Oh yeah, it does. Awesome. Okay, also, I think while I'm out, I'm just gonna go scoop up a Daydon, come back home and tame it, just help healing my Rexes here, and I've got a good saddle for it back at base. I flew through the majority of the snow on day 65, but I've not spotted a single pig anywhere, so I headed out to the tundra instead. Do Daydons exist on this map? I am not convinced. I've not seen a single one. Oh, there we go. Please be good. It's a level 20. We cannot be serious. And the next pig I found was equally garbage. Luckily, they started appearing everywhere now, and eventually I found a 145, so I picked it up. Back to base we go, dude, across the map. You're joining my army whether you like it or not. Once I arrived, I dropped it onto one of my towers, which surprisingly, it couldn't get down from. Can it get out? Oh, I don't think it can. So I left it up there while I went to retrieve a few red drops that came down nearby. Then when I returned, I sorted the stuff out before placing the new artifact up for display. Boom. Okay, all 3 artifacts that I need. Nice. Let's tame this Daydon now. I constructed another trap just outside the gates and dropped the Daydon in with my RG before pelting its face with a bunch of arrows. With the pig now asleep, I once again scoured the chalk hills for any unsuspecting ovis, and I then brought all the mutton back to feed the pig. On day 66, I flew out to another red drop while waiting for the Daydon to tame. Inside, I found an interesting assortment of loot, mainly the Ascendant right chest piece, scuba flippers, and air conditioner. When I returned back home, I grabbed another AC that I've been storing away and placed them both down in the hatchery. I then threw out a bunch of Rex eggs to hatch out as the Daydon was done taming, and of course, I can use those to level up the Daydon so it has more food for better healing. With the pig leveled up, I hopped on the back of Torch as there was another red drop in sight and I just couldn't pass up on such an opportunity. On my way back, I also opened up a purple drop with a ring, but I got jumped by a gang of furry raptors. So I had to pull out the freedom stick again. Now I just have to get my army healed up and I'm good to go for the Gamma boss fight. So I hopped on the pig and started healing up the Rexes. That absolutely shredded through my meat stocks. So once the Daydon was out of food, I flew down on Torch to get some more real quick. Alright, I need to make more saddles for my Rexes. I think I need to make like 10 of the blueprint that I have. I think I'll make another smithy just to make crafting here easy. Stay organized. The new smithy fit nicely between my storage boxes and the indie forge. I still needed to farm more hide and fiber, so I grabbed my chainsaw, repaired it, and headed out on Torch to find some sheep. Alright, not gonna lie, this isn't as much as I thought it was. I think I might be better off just killing a Bronto or something and then chainsawing it. I returned back to base and stored the hideaway and then went out to get fiber instead. I packed up a parasaur in front of the base and harvested it with the chainsaw, but it didn't give me a ton of hide. So instead, I flew down to kill bigger creatures with Torch and just eat the corpses for time's sake. Then when I returned back to base, I hopped on the Daydon and healed the Rexes up some more. Okay, I think I've got mind wipe tonics. Yeah, let's make as many saddles as I can. Hopefully they're good. I dropped my whole inventory off to Cat and I grabbed all the hide that I had laying around before consuming the first mind wipe and dumping all the points in the crafting skill. Dude, what? Why am I getting such bad rolls? Yeah, the first 3 saddles were all major disappointments, but the rest came out a little bit better. It's 9 saddles. I think I'll make one more. Okay, there we go. Some of them are good, some of them not so much. It's like I didn't even have any crafting skill. All right, let's reset my stats.
Anyways, I downed the second mind wipe and I set my stats back to normal. I then grabbed all the other saddles and saddled up all the Rexes.
Got some extras, but it's whatever. They're not that good. All right, I'm gonna craft up more cryopods to transfer my dinos. We also need to make another cryo fridge.
That being said, I loaded up the RG with all the resources and I flew out to the green obelisk, stopping by a purple drop with a ring on the way there.
28? Whatever, I'm balling out.
Once they were all finished crafting, I started heading back home. My path did get crossed by a red drop though, so of course I had to investigate.
Whoa, what? Are we serious? 2 Rex saddle blueprints in 1 drop. I mean, they're all way too expensive, but that's crazy.
Back at base, I crafted up another generator before cryoing up my army.
Let's cryo up these Rexes and the Megaraptor and Deinonychus, as well as the Yudi, and then we'll head out to the obelisk.
I also did bring extra armor as there are supposedly vultures in the new arena, and if you don't know, those actually hit you off your tame and damage the character directly. On day 69, I hopped on Torch and flew down to the green obelisk again. I then slapped the generator and cryo fridge down before waiting half of a century for the cooldown so I could start deploying my army. With the boss army deployed, I stored all the cryopods away and I filled up the terminal with the tributes to start the boss fight.
Okay, here we go.
After teleporting into the new arena, I quickly hopped on my Yudi.
Holy, this place is foggy and dark. Alright, I know as soon as you go in there, it kind of jumps down on you.
So I first fully buffed all my dinos before whistling them to follow me into the fight.
Really scary, I'm not gonna lie. Y'all better be ready to kick some butt.
I approached the gate where I then whistled all my dinos to go in first.
I want them to aggro the boss, not me. Oh, there it is, there it is. Yeah, here it comes.
Kill it, kill it. We were doing a decent amount of damage, but soon it jumped up.
It's not doing a ton of damage. The saddles are definitely... Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, it's landing on me.
After it landed, it made my whole army bleed just to jump back up again and do it 2 more times.
Why does it keep jumping immediately? It's just doing bleed damage and leaving. This is not good. Oh no, being hunted. Oh, I gotta click that pot. I know I do. I think it just appears right in front of me then. Oh, you don't have to click it, it just shows up.
Just like that, I'm back in the fight, and soon the boss claimed its first victim.
Oh, Fluffy's already dead? Oh no.
Shortly after that, my Megaraptor followed.
Megaraptor's dead? Oh, I'm gonna lose this fight. I'm gonna lose this.
The bleed damage was really bad, and the boss kept leaping up just to pounce back down on all of us.
Oh, there's the pot thing. Should have brought my Daydon. Can't see anything, man. Oh, it's on me.
My army was also all over the place, so I couldn't even keep them all buffed up. It kept on bleeding us out slowly but surely until the next hunt event.
Oh no, I'm stuck in it. Why is it aggroed on me? Come on, we're doing decent damage now.
This time the Rexes actually did a ton of damage to it before it started jumping again. As the next hunt started, I gathered my army together, courage roared them all back up, and ran to the pot.
Come on, deal damage, deal damage. Kill it, please. Come on, just kill it. Oh, we're so low. If we don't kill it here, we're dead. Come on, just kill it, just kill it, just kill it, just kill it. Oh my. Oh. No, they're dropping. Oh, no shot. Oh my, that boss is so strong. All that for 90 element? Dude, I can't do alpha. I cannot do alpha.
After teleporting out of there on day 70, I grabbed all the cryopods and stuffed my army away back into them before flying home.
Man, I'm still stressed out from that boss.
When I returned, I threw them back out so they could start healing.
Did I drop off a ring right outside base? Okay, I can get down with that.
I also unlocked the trophy mount for its head and I placed that down on my own tower.
Put it right above the door. That thing is terrifying.
Anyways, I ran out to collect the red drop with the ring, but it was pretty mid, so I flew down to the other red drop in the chalk hills to see if it could redeem itself. Yeah, they were both pretty mid.
Yeah, I think we dedicate day 70 to just a chill, relaxing day where I don't do much. That boss was something else.
That being said, I kind of just stared into my inventory for the rest of the day, trying to unscar myself from what I had just gone through. Okay, so as you all have seen by now, I've done a lot on Valguero in these past 70 days. But there's one big thing that I'm yet to do, and that is to explore the entire Abberation area that this map has underground. And there's a lot of cool stuff down there that I'd like to get. There's rock drakes, reapers, and a ton of other stuff. Maybe even get some light pets or something, I'm not sure. So I think I'm gonna take a little vacation, I guess you could say. I'm gonna stock up on a bunch of stuff and we're gonna head down to the Abberation area, see
see what all I can actually tame down there.
I mainly wanted to get a rock drake as they're just really cool tames to have. I grabbed my generator and the cryo fridge, then hopped on Cat to actually head out and find the entrance to the underground aberration.
Okay, I've done some research and located the coordinates of one of the entrances. It's kind of across the map, so I've got a big journey ahead of me.
Thylas are pretty good at traversing through terrain, so it didn't take me too long to get to one of the entrances.
Okay, here is the entrance. Let's do this. It's already hot.
I put on my ghillie hood to keep me cool and I headed down through the bright purple hall.
This looks super cool. Oh, there's bulldogs and stuff. Okay.
I made a marker at the entrance on my map just in case I get lost down here and I can continue going down.
That is one orange crystal. That thing looks crazy. Okay, this has got to be like the official place. I don't think I'm on the ramp anymore. How big can this place really be? Really, it's going to be easy to find the red and blue zone.
I would very likely need a hazmat suit if I wanted to go and retrieve a rock drake egg, but for now I was just exploring the zone. It was actually much bigger than I first anticipated.
Okay, yeah, I stand corrected. This place is massive.
I was looking for the red zone as that's where the rock drake trench actually was, but I was having a hard time finding it. I unlocked the hazmat set and ran over to see how close I could get before I got radiation.
Oh, right there. Okay.
I wanted to see what was down there though, so I entered photo mode and peeked over the edge.
Oh, wait, what? There's blue crystals right there, but they're in the radiation. So how am I supposed to get them? Oh, wait, are these blue crystals? Okay.
So now I just had to get the gas balls, for which I needed a gas collector.
But I need red gems for that. Interesting. I think I can go over, yeah, safe here. There are red gems like right down there in the radiation. But I think if I'm quick, I can like run down, farm some, and then run back.
But first, I farmed up the blue gems as it didn't involve me risking my life. Now, before I went down there to get the red gems, I wanted to make a few sleeping bags just in case things go south. So I packed up a duo of aberrant raptors for hide and got some fiber from the local bushes.
I'll make like 4. It's good.
I then checked the gas collector engram to confirm that I only need 20 red gems total. So I left Kipper and threw all myself onto the thyla and placed down the sleeping bags before going down into the radiation zone.
Can I see the red gems? Yeah, I see them down there. Okay.
As soon as I got hit by the radiation, I started sprinting towards the gems.
There they are. There they are.
I quickly whacked up 21 and then bolted straight back to the top.
Oh, I'm alive. I've got radiation sickness for a fat minute, but I'm alive. Oh, shot, I survived that. 13 health. Holy. What are the odds?
I re-kitted, picked up Kipper, and started downing medical brews to heal back up.
Let's go back to base, make the gas collector, bring everything else for hazmat, and then we'll come back down.
While running back, I came across a purple drop, but the loot inside was terrible, so I just kept moving. I then made it back to the big ramp and ran back outside.
Home sweet home.
I crafted the gas collector, but now I have to go all the way back down there so I can actually start collecting gas from it. So that being said, I hopped right back on Cat and ran back down to the underground again. And on day 73, after running around aimlessly for a while, I finally ran into a gas phase, so I slapped the collector down on top of it. Now all I have to do was wait until it produced enough gas balls for me to make a full set of hazmat, so I could finally go down to the radiation zone safely and get me a rock drake egg. By day 74, I had over 150, which was more than enough for a hazmat suit. But there was one thing that I had to go and check on, so I ran back to the red zone again.
Okay, so my thyla actually takes radiation damage. So to counteract that, I'm actually gonna try and make some mushroom stews here. I need to farm up a bunch of these aberration mushrooms.
The soups were not that expensive to cook up, so after handpicking a bunch of mushrooms, I headed out of the aberration zone and then ran back to base.
Okay, so for this mushroom stew, I need sap. Not good.
I stored all the mushrooms in the fridge for now and then unlocked the sap tap engram before looking into my vault and already finding a couple lying there.
Oh, I have sap taps. What?
I made 2 more just to speed things up and then hopped on Torch to fly over to the redwoods so I could place them. I only needed 3 sap per mushroom brew, so I waited by the tree for a few minutes, then opened up all the taps to get a total of 29 sap. On my way back to base, I stopped by a red drop with a ring, and I got absolutely blessed by the things inside.
Ooh, 500 damage pump? 214 armor Rex saddle blueprint. What?
I swapped my boomstick out for the better and improved one, and then flew back home to give the new saddle to one of my Rexes. I then grabbed all the necessary ingredients and cooked up 9 mushroom brews. I also crafted up the set of hazmat to keep me protected.
Okay, now to the rock drake, then we go.
I did run into a slight complication though on my way back, but that's just the perfect opportunity for me to test out my new boomstick. And once I did actually make it down to the ramp, I looked in my inventory and, well...
No shot, I forgot the mushroom stews, dude. I gotta go back, I'm an idiot.
So on day 76, I made the not so quick back and forth to base just to grab the stews.
Cannot be bothered to ride back on the Thyla. I'm picking it up with the wyvern and flying over there. Okay, if I can pick it up, that is.
When I made it back, I parked Torch in the corner of the entrance and ran back down the ramp. Once I was finally at the radiation zone, I threw Kipper in a cryopod so he wouldn't die.
And then I'm just gonna try and steal an egg and then run out. I don't even totally know where I'm going, to be honest with you. It can't be that hard to find, surely.
Before I delved into the unknown, I ran up to see if there were any other entrances that I could try.
Okay, this looks like the only entrance to the radiation. Is that Cosmo? What is going on here? Oh yeah, it's a little Cosmo up there.
Anyways, I threw the hazmat on and fed one of the mushroom brews to my Thyla and then jumped straight down into the radiation.
Oh, is it really right here? Oh, this is super close.
I couldn't see any drakes around, so I just dropped right in.
Okay, there's a drake. Oh, there's an egg right here. Oh, 45, that's terrible. I'm not taking that.
I checked the yellow cave dropout briefly before climbing back up since a bit of nameless started spawning around me. One of the rock drakes spotted me climbing up, so I had to drop it. But soon something a little more troublesome aggroed to me.
Oh no. What? Okay, I didn't even account for reapers. I forgot about those entirely. Oh, there's an egg, of course, when I've got the reaper on me.
I kited it down to the deeper part of the trench before climbing back up myself so I could check that second egg out.
Level 90. Screw it, whatever. I can say I got one even though it's not good.
As I was running out of there, I stumbled into the third egg, but it was only a level 75.
Man, these eggs suck. All right, well, I guess I did accomplish my goal. I was hoping to get, you know, a better drake egg, one that I would actually like to use, but whatever. This is still cool. I do like that Valguero does have an Abberation zone, a big one at that. All right, let's get out of here, back to base. Match this guy up.
I ran back up the ramp to Torch and flew back to base. When I arrived on day 77, I threw Kipper back out to put him on my shoulder and threw the egg out in the hatchery.
Hey, let's hatch up this drake egg. Even though I'm probably not going to use it. It will look cool sitting on my wall, though. Too hot. I need more ACs. Are we serious?
I crafted a couple more, placed them down, and now the egg actually started incubating, so in the meantime, I checked out the saddle engram.
Oh, I completely forgot I need red gems to make a saddle. I'm gonna have to go back if I want to saddle this thing. I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna raise it and then put it on my wall, dude. I'm gonna call it model because it's not gonna do anything but look cool. Okay, so with my rock drake raising, I think the final goal for this 100 days should definitely be to kill the overworld broodmother that was terrorizing me while I was getting the artifact of the pack. So then I can say that I beat the boss of Valguero, or both bosses of Valguero, I should say. Yeah, and we'll just ignore that it was only Gamma and I nearly lost. We'll ignore that.
That being said, I needed my Rexes to heal up, and I also wanted to tame one more thing to help me take down the broodmother. And that would be that level 135 Giga over in the snow that I saw a while back. I had an absolutely goated Giga saddle in my storage box, so it only made sense to tame that Giga. So to make the trap, I grabbed a bunch of metal from the forge and brought it into my smithy and crafted up the 4 dino gates and a couple of bear traps that I needed. Secondly, I needed to farm more narcotics as I barely had any trank arrows left over. So I hopped on Bunny to do the annual lawn mowing session just outside my base. I then turned all of that into narcotics while I crafted arrows.
Here we go, there were tranks crafting.
After the tranks crafted, I waited for Model to grow up and brought him to one of the towers so he could chill on top and do what he was always supposed to do.
Yep, definitely looks cool. Pretty useless though.
On day 78, I hopped on Torch and we set out to find that high level Giga.
Oh, what is this? Hold up. Whoa, this is cool. Little spot to build. I think I hear the Giga though that I'm here for. Okay, sweet, it's still here.
The area was relatively flat too, perfect to set up my trap.
Oh, maybe not. 145. Oh, there's another one.
And there even was the third one, perfectly surrounding the Giga from all sides. So my plan was to try and lead it down into that hole with the little cave that I saw earlier. I politely nudged the Giga and made it follow me down there, but now I actually wanted it to leave me alone, but it persisted on messing with me.
No! Alright, this guy's gotta take a breather. Can't even build a trap.
I waited a bit until it forgot about my existence and flew down to quickly construct the trap.
Now let's... Honestly, I'll probably just shoot him and try and get his attention. Need this bear trap to unlock. Come on. Are we serious? You can't figure out how... What? Come on. Come on, you can figure that out. Surely. Oh, you idiot. Slight complications arose as the Giga started munching through everything on the other side. I waited until it got a bit farther away from the trap and then placed the last gate down and picked up the one on the other side. Oh, come on, you can't get up that little lip? There's no way. What? The 2 rocks on each side were making its AI tweak out to the point that it just refused to go into the trap. So I kited it away to some wild creatures and returned back to pick up everything so I could trap it another way. Okay, since the normal trap's not wanting to work for some reason, there's this lip down here. Maybe I just destroy all these rocks, place gates up here, and just lead it into the hole to where it can't get out. Okay, so now let's set up gates just like a wall like this, to where surely I can't get out of this if it falls in. If it's in this area, I broke the last few big rocks just to be safe on day 79 and flew up to get its attention again. All right, come right over here, dude. You can get me. Yeah, you can get me. No. There's no way you go all the way around. Come on, big dog. Oh, it's in. Go, get out. Okay, surely it can't get out, right? My plan worked to perfection. However, Torch was literally on life support, so I have to get him some raw meat to heal while I trank out the Giga. And it's asleep. Sweet, dude. I immediately force-fed it a bunch of narcotics and headed out to get some mutton. Perfect. There we go. Giga is tamed with some horrible melee. That's for sure. And this guy, orange soda. With orange soda fitted into my pocket, I packed up the gates and flew back home. Okay, let's get some Rex eggs to power level this Giga here. I was all out of sacrifices though, so I did have to enable breeding on my Rexes again and form a small breeding circle and then wait. However, in the meantime, I took off on Torch to go do my favorite activity, and that is to collect red drops, of course. UD saddle, I think I've got a better one though. Finally, that's enough eggs to do some power leveling. Not sure how this is gonna work since the Giga is quite a bit bigger. I removed the dino gate as well as a few walls so that Giga could actually fit inside, and then I got it all leveled up. There we go. That's still pretty terrible melee on a Giga, but it's better than what it was. Okay, so I gotta give my Rexes some time to heal. Get off my property. As I was saying, I gotta give my Rexes more time to heal before we fight the overworld broodmother. So in the meantime, I want to check another thing off my list, and that's to tame a chalk golem. Specifically that 140 that I marked on my map. Now, to knock out a golem, I would need a cannon, and after unlocking the engram, I noticed just how expensive one was. Fortunately, I am just rich like that though, so after getting some thatch on day 82, I could craft one. Okay, well there's the cannon. Now I've got to make a bunch of cannonballs. I'm definitely gonna need obsidian. Maybe I gotta go collect more taxes. And then gunpowder. I couldn't find my chainsaw anywhere, so I crafted a new one and flew down to the forest with Bluebird to stock up on wood, which I then threw into the indie forge to turn into charcoal. Next, I flew over to the lake near Green Obelisk to collect some tax. Then the last thing I needed, of course, was obsidian. When I returned back to base, I brought the Anki out to farm a little bit of stone and flint too, as I needed that for spark powder. Okay, let's craft up the spark powder in this one, and since I've got 2 chemistry benches, might as well use both of them. And I'll use my other chemistry bench to craft the actual gunpowder. And lastly, I brought said gunpowder into the smithy to finally craft up the cannonballs. I then parked my Quetzal down near the forge so I could load everything into it. Yeah, I just shredded through my metal stocks. Am I out of metal? I'm gonna have to do a metal run. No way. Okay. Definitely didn't plan on doing a metal run considering the sheer amount of it, but honestly, I'm not gonna complain about the privilege of getting to feed my addiction some more. As I was flying back towards base, I spotted something quite uncanny on one of the cherry blossom trees. Okay, that makes sense. Anywho, I loaded up the indie forge and I actually found quite a few ingots in my second smithy. So I grabbed those and crafted a bunch more cannonballs. I mean, that's a lot of cannonballs. Surely I can knock it out with that. Now let's make some metal structures here to actually place the cannon on. I was once again out of metal from crafting those cannonballs, but I did have a metal tree platform in my storage box. So I flew out to the redwoods to place that and demolish it. Oh yeah,
Bunch of free metal and paste. Back at base, I made a few more pillars, ceilings, and ladders as I was pretty much ready to go out and tame that golem.
So what most people do is they like build a whole trap for it, but I've got a better or worse idea. We'll soon find out. So I need bones. Where is he at? So what you can actually do sometimes is like kind of trick the golem's AI into just following one of your dinos or being aggressive towards it. And basically you can just hover a pteranodon right above its head and it'll keep looking up at the pteranodon, and you can keep shooting it with a cannon while it's just looking at the pteranodon, and it won't move until you knock it out. So that's the plan here.
I did, however, have those gates and bear traps left over from taming that Giga, so I grabbed those as well before finally heading out.
There we go. Okay, the 140 chalk golem. It's right here.
And I had this nice open flat area to construct my trap on, so I first placed down 4 of the gates. I then placed a generator and cryo fridge so I could throw out bones. On day 86, I laid the bear trap down and flew over to introduce myself to the golem. Now first, I tried to get the golem inside, but that didn't work, so I then tried my original plan of hovering above the golem. It looked promising up until I tried to dismount bones, which made him move and break the whole plan. So a slight change of plans had to occur. I picked up all the gates, and this time I hopped on Bluebird. While the golem was in rock form, I approached it and I quickly started placing the gates around it while taking a few hits. Unfortunately though, I managed to get Bluebird stuck with the golem, so I had to pick up one of the gates and replace it. But just as I thought I had it trapped, this happened. So I tried it for a second time. I once again fully surrounded the golem and gates just for it to ignore the laws of physics and walk straight into them. Since this wasn't going to work, I decided to try my own strategy again, but this time with Bluebird. I could actually dismount from Bluebird and he would stay afloat above the golem, so I carefully grappled away and started constructing the cannon platform. Finally, I placed down the cannon and started raining shots on the golem. When it fell asleep, I whistled Bluebird back down and picked up the cannon contraption as well as my generator and cryo fridge before flying back home. On day 87, I opened another red drop with a ring, and I got 2 whole Ascendant Rex saddles, and one of which had over 300 armor. So I flew back home to replace 2 of the weaker saddles. Now, to actually tame this rock elemental, I needed a bit of sulfur, so I flew all the way out to the wyvern trench where I then packed up a couple of ice wyverns. On my way back to the golem, I opened up a couple of drops which gave me some jerky, veggie cakes, and a bit of sulfur which I then fed to the golem.
This is going to take so long to tame.
Dude, what?
What? Oh, he's in rock form. I relogged. That's funny. This is gonna take so long to tame. Whatever, I'm just gonna wait for it. I don't got anything better to do. Okay, chalk elemental is tamed. Sulfur definitely took a while. Let's bring this thing back to base and saddle it up and then test it out.
Back at base, I grabbed an Ascended saddle that I had in my smithy and threw it on the golem for a little bit of a test drive.
This thing is faster than I thought it would be. Oh, the ground pound effect splashing up rocks like that is sick.
I could also chuck endless boulders at defenseless parasaurs, which was definitely a nice feature.
Alright, I'm gonna cryo this guy up and put him on one of my tower walls. He's gonna look very menacing up there. And that's what I'm talking about. This base looks menacing. Looks so good. This might be one of the best bases I've ever built in one of my videos. It looks really good.
Anyways, I looked through my Rexes and most of them are already doing pretty good on health.
Okay, so my Rexes need a little bit more time to heal. Do that with the Daydon, and they also need food. So let's do meat runs, heal them up. We've got that brood mother to fight pretty soon.
After the first short meat run, I headed back out to look for sheep specifically as mutton was way better at filling up my pig's belly.
Ah, sheep, boy.
I killed 3 of them before flying back to force feed all the mutton down my Daydon's throat. I then parked the Rexes that needed healing close to one another so I could get them healed up. On day 92, I spotted a red drop coming down over in the snow, so of course I flew straight to it. To compensate for the lack of loot, I had to go open more drops throughout the few days that I had left before the final fight, as I could always get more goated Rex saddles.
Man, I want saddles, not blueprints. Oh, full forge? Okay.
Back at base on day 97, it was time to start preparing my army for the inevitable.
Okay, let's get the Rex army cryoed up, as well as the Giga, and then we'll probably head out to the brood mother.
I grabbed the cryo fridge, the generator, and stuffed all my Rexes into my pocket. Then lastly, I picked up orange soda as well, and I was pretty much ready to go.
Okay, think I've got everything I need. Just grab some food and then we'll head out there.
I made it over to the cave again on the back of Torch, and the Ark gods decided to spice up this final boss battle a bit by spawning in a second broodmother.
Okay, here we go. Oh, there's two! I did not know that was possible. Okay, well, that makes things very interesting.
I set my generator and cryo fridge down at the top, and I waited for another 5 decades for the cryo timer to expire. In fact, when I left my PC for just a minute while the timer expired, the two broodmothers managed to pathfind up to me and kill me, Torch, and Kipper.
What? What the f?
Hold up, what? I went to take a leak, what happened?
What? Did it get up to me?
Hold up, what? Dude, I'd go for 2 seconds.
I quickly hopped on Frostbite and flew back to assess the situation.
How did it get up here? How did both of them get up here?
I aggroed them both so they would fall back down into the hole, but I still couldn't wrap my mind around how they actually got up here in the first place.
Man, Kipper died. I swear they can't get up. Oh, did it really? Did they really pathfind all of this to get to me? No way.
Turns out the creature's AI in this game are pretty sharp when it comes to pathfinding to an AFK player. That does not seem to be the case though when you're actually trying to kite a dino though.
Dude, now I really want them dead. Okay, well I gotta go make another generator. Poor Kipper, dude. Survived all the way into the end. I literally go take a leak and I come back and I'm dead.
I made my way back home to grab another generator and some gas before saying my final goodbyes to the base.
And say goodbye to this base for one last time. This is definitely one of my favorite bases that I've ever built. I think it looks great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
And with that, I was right back off to the redwoods to put an end to these two cruel broodmothers. I replaced my generator and started throwing out all the Rexes.
Okay, got my army deployed here. Oh. Anyways, as I was saying, I got my army deployed here. Now I just gotta wait around until day 100. It's day 98, just so this video isn't clickbait.
So as you can imagine, I waited out the rest of day 98 and 99, and soon the day of reckoning had arrived.
Okay, it is officially day 100. It's been a good 100 days on Valguero, for the most part, besides just losing Kipper a few days ago. But let's take down these two broodmothers for what they did to me and Kipper. Everyone follow me. They're just gonna go in for it? Oh yeah.
I watched my Rexes pour onto the broodmothers, and I soon joined them to get a few bites in as well.
No idea how much health this thing has. Surely it can't be that much though, it's just an overworld boss. Okay, the other one's coming. That Rex is just stuck up there. Oh, never mind, he's down here now. Oh, jeez. Come on, man. Okay, that one's dead. That one was a level 20. I think this one's a level 130 though. It's not doing a ton of damage. We can kill this for sure.
This second broodmother tanked a bunch more hits from my army, but her end was already sealed and she soon met her demise.
Yeah, this one's taking a lot longer to kill. This is definitely the one that killed me and Kipper. This is for Kipper. Finally. Oh, it drops loot. I didn't know that. That's cool. Well, I can say I avenged myself and Kipper. We did it. 100 days on Valguero. It was good. But it cost me everything. Everything being Kipper. F in the chat for Kipper.
Since Kipper is not here with us in the end as he used to be, I have to thank you all myself for watching these 100 days all the way to the end. The new boss introduced to this new Valguero was a really nice refresher to what the old arena used to be. Instead of fighting the 3 most fearsome bosses of Ark at once, I had to face a much scarier foe. A giant Megaraptor lurking in the shadows, ready to attack whoever dares set foot in his domain. But with the strength of my Rex army and Kipper, we were able to take down Grendel and establish Kipper as the king of this Ark. That is, until day 97 of course, but Kipper still rules in our hearts.